Finally, this works.
Oh, this has been a headache to set up. Right, let's drop that down. Let's get rid of Discord for now. The game just... Well, okay, excellent, well done. Okay, so back to this, get rid of this. Big game 5. Almost started. Happy days. Cool, so just a quick rule from me. When we do get into the game, if we have brand new people join that we haven't seen before, I'm going to check their stats out on our stats website. I'm not going to put anybody into the game that is completely fresh or brand new, basically. I kind of want to keep it grief-free as much as I can. So the rule that I have is if they have less than kind of maybe 10-15 games, we're just going to keep them spectator, or I might push them towards the normal server and say, look, this isn't your game, but there's one that you can play on a different server. So that's for our guys. The other team, you are not going to have an issue as well. Also, our server is going to be north and the guest team are going to be south. I'm not too sure what's happening on the other server, but effectively what I mean by that is nobody's going to join the game that is fresh, that isn't going to be on voice, and that doesn't know what to do.
Don't push them on main. Leave them to spectate. Don't discourage them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, the longer they spectate, the more they can learn about the game, so yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting for a few people to come in, so when we have all the key players involved, we'll start filtering people into teams, and then we can get going from there. Music's a bit loud. Okay, mate, yeah, no worries, I'll drop that down. I'm still scrambling. We've had a few last minute changes here, so I've had to a few things have gone by the wayside. How about that, mate? Let me know if that's a little better. If you want, I can drop it down even further. Better. Okay, awesome. Again, I can kind of tweak these things as well as the game goes on. Thanks for joining us. This will start soon. I know that we said we'd start up 4, but this is effectively the most organised we've ever been. Even though it seems like we're slightly disorganised, we will start this game very soon. We need the captain of the server, the plebs, effectively, to join. We've got loads of people jumping in as well from the main server. Okay. And then we'll get up and running. For anybody that's joining that doesn't know what's going on right now, we have a guest team that has challenged the entirety of the BB server.
Is it like going to be in VC or?
So yeah, we have a pretty heavy challenge on our hands today for Big Game 5. Only the strongest will survive. That's my tagline to all this. I'm still waiting for some of the opposition team who challenged us to join the server as well, so they're really leaving it late. Fashionable entry, coming in a little bit late, but yeah, we'll be up and running very, very soon. And again, if the music's too loud, let me know. I'd rather get that sorted out right at the very beginning of this stream than find out when I watch the VOD back that you couldn't even hear it, or
Where
you couldn't
is
even hear me. I'll send him a message, mate. He is on Discord, so I'll send him a quick message, ask him to join.
He's out here. I have no problem taking his spot.
So yeah, this will be a good game. This is going to be a pretty brutal
which
game.
one
if
is
you
it?
ask me.
Captains or the normal?
We're going to be running basically the.
What server is it?
We'll be running a refereed game, but I'm going to filter everybody who isn't in the organised team off to you guys. So effectively, I'll just be moving people into North.
That's cool now. Which server is it on?
Oh, we're on the captain server, mate. Which is no longer connectable by your IP address. Music's a bit loud. Okay, mate, let me drop that down. 1 second. I thought I'd go for something a bit more relaxing than before. I can also kind of boost my mic a little bit as well. So there's a couple of tweaks and things I need to be able to.
Yeah, it's definitely not connectable, just normally.
Just search on the, if you type in...
I did.
Oh, got you, okay, awesome. Like I said, guys, we're not going to be waiting here forever. We just need a few key players to join, and then we can start this whole thing up, so...
There's Lucky.
Aye, there we go. So we've got one captain in. and then effectively... I mean, what do we think about this map? We've got a decent amount of everything in main. We obviously have the opportunity to re-roll the map as well. Both sides have a chance to say, look, I'm not too hot on this.
Let's just roll till we get the perfect thing.
Nah, absolutely not. We'll be here forever. So yeah, the plebs will be north, and the guest team will be south.
Probably a forest map.
Can you imagine a desert map on something like this?
I'm gonna guess there's gonna be a lake right in the most annoying place.
Yeah, honestly. If there's a game for lake shenanigans, this is it really, isn't it? Okay, so, for anybody that's joining that doesn't know what's going on, we have effectively been challenged. Our server, the Bite Battle server, has been challenged by a guest team of very, very strong players. There's only 8 of them, and they've basically said, come at me bro, to our entire server. Rerolled to Heavy Forest. Spox has got the right idea. So yeah, we will be starting this game mode very, very soon. Thanks for joining me. We will get things rolling. It's kind of boring at the moment, but we're just waiting for some key players to join. And yeah, I hope you're having a good day. You know, this should be this won't be a long stream, I don't think. I'm aiming for like 2 or 3 hours, really. If it goes on for the 4-hour mark, then something's gone wrong, because we're up against some very strong opponents, and those strong opponents potentially could speed the game up to an insane level, ratchet the difficulty up pretty heavily. So if Jason finally loads, let me have a quick scan who we have. Okay, yeah. We've got some decent players here. We're missing a few though, key names. Things like Colden missing. Okay, right. I'm struggling. Are we missing a few people here? I think there are some key names that we're... Okay. Yeah, apologies. It's a slow start, obviously. Here we go. Pipes is coming. There we go. Melik's coming. All right. So yeah, I'd rather get this start correct initially than speed through this part and then basically lose out on what could be a really, really good game. And we've already got some group creation too. So the guys have been talking about this for about a week now, organising a strategy. The plebs have come up with what they think will work, and we're up against a team who have been practicing pretty heavily for this game. So we're going to have a very heavily defined set of strategies going head to head against each other today, and that's going to be really interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, we've got Carl. So many people. Yeah, big game. Developers joining. Happy days. "30 minutes to play." Hey, that's more than enough, Carl, honestly. So the way this needs to happen, guys, is we're going to get everybody swapped into teams. I'm going to freeze everyone. I need to give everybody trust, and then I need to run another command to give everybody the same inventory as well. So it's going to take a few minutes to set up, but once we're up and running, it's going to be just good to go.
Right.
So yeah, apologies we didn't get straight away into this, but I think this is going to be a really good game, so I don't want to kind of rush anything. We also need all of the guest team to join as well, and we're still waiting for some of them to connect, so I think they're making us wait. It's a bit of a power play, you know, making us wait this long. I'm just going to check Discord to ask if everybody's jumping in, because we're missing some key names here. The people that challenged us haven't arrived just yet. Sticklord is watching from a ferry. Holy shit, mate. Well, welcome. I hope you like the music. Hope this doesn't put you to sleep. In-game NVC, okay. got? Our team is ready. Awesome. Okay, I've got the thumbs up from the guest team. Are you comfortable starting with the players that you have? Or would you want to wait a few minutes for more people to join the pleb team? I don't want to wait forever, but if it's a few minutes just to get a few extra people in, like Outstanding, Whisper, and those guys in.
And the main server come to this one instead.
Ah, got you.
Still playing the other server. Maybe do the pop-up.
Hey, Dimitri. Thank you for the follow. If you're just joining and you don't know what's going on, believe me, it will get much more interesting once we have this set up. My name's Ghosty, and I'm currently refereeing this game, as well as organising it, as well as casting it. It's a lot to do for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, so bear with me. This will get very interesting very quick.
Super bad.
Alright.
Because we're just waiting on main server.
And just wrap up.
Alright. Well, do the thing.
Wait, so the main server's just finished a game?
We need this great.
Yes, go do that. Go do that, Fraud. Board.
Okay. But yeah, big game, guys. How you feeling? How are the plebs feeling about your chances? Because I've seen a lot of strategy talk in Discord recently. You know, I think you guys have got a really good understanding of where you want to take this. But yeah, some of the strategizing and some of the plans have been ridiculous. I mean, down to
We
the
have
T.
Excel even with sheets.
Yeah, I've seen Excel documents have come out of the woodwork here. Arguments about efficiencies of late game builds as well, so people are keen, people are down. Don't want to wake up the wife or the pack. Don't worry about that, my dude. It's nice to have you here anyway. Okay.
Where's our captain?
Yeah, very good question. As far as I can see, we've got almost everyone that planned to be here.
Clutch here.
Oh, there. Look at this, boys. Holy shit. Now
Yeah,
everyone's
the
coming.
reinforcement are coming.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to let this just play out for a second. This is incredibly popular, so we'll let this happen. Everyone can join, and then we'll get going. So apologies for the delayed start, but I think you'll agree.
Might like join. Are they joining?
I think we just got an influx of like 50 players.
No.
Preparations are going well, mate. I'm hoping that this goes off without a hitch. I've got to run some programming stuff at the beginning of this, and it worries me a little bit, but we will be joining teams very soon. I'm just waiting for everybody to basically join the map. So once we have that up and running and everything settles down, we will start. I think this is about it. I'm going to re-roll the map, if everybody's okay with that, and then we can just start a game from minute 0, basically, so that the server has 0 time on it, and we can just go from there. If any new players, I'm going to have to check you out before you go into the game. So getting people into the game might take some time, because it's just me Googling each player to make sure they're not brand new. And remember, guys, join VC if you haven't already. I shouldn't be saying that on here, I should be typing it in.
Spamming it.
Awesome. Right. I think that's about as many as we're going to get, basically. I don't think we're going to get many more than this. Monkeylol, if you don't unjoin referee, I'm going to fucking kick you in the nuts. Alright, guys. I think this is it. Is everybody ready? Is anybody not ready to start right now? Excellent. I'm going to force a restart of the map, and then we will get going. We're officially starting now. What is it? Oh, it's not without the C.
If anyone
Hello.
does not hear this broadcast, please come and report it to the principal's office.
Oh, this is going to be an absolute circus. Holy shit. So we've got a couple of people designated to threat farm for the plebs. There are a few people that will be joining power-specific outposts. 70 players, man. This is big. This is probably one of the biggest games we've had. And if you're not able to join the game,
People what?
try and join us on stream, because this is going to be this is going to be nuts. So this is what the map could have been. Oh no.
Maybe not do that.
Oh dear, that's terrible.
That's kind of loud.
-1 for that, please.
That was Nero, right? I have no problem.
With the ESL horn.
I have no problem using admin powers on you.
It was only a matter of time before somebody brought in the noise board. You know. Oh dear. Can somebody ban? Oh no, wait.
It's Nero. I have no problem muting him.
Oh my god.
I just woke up.
I'm
so-
just glad. I'm glad there's a lot of energy about this one, guys. This is going to be a really, really good game. I'm really looking forward to this. So the way this... Oh dear, my ears. I'm calling the police. I'm being cyberbullied right now.
35% Nero. That's still loud as fuck.
Yeah, I'm going to have to mute Neuro, my man. Like...
Not from the French community from Factorio.
Bonsoir, mes amis. Vive le bleu.
Hey.
I'll mute.
Most of
We can't wake up MXPL's parrot, guys. Think of... I don't know what his name is, but I'm going to call him
Wake
Pete.
up the parrot.
Pete the parrot. Alright, we're almost ready to go, guys. I'm going to filter the opposition team in first, and then we're going to get everybody into North. I need to freeze everyone as well, obviously. Run a little bit of code, and then the game is good to go. So, not far from here, not far from here. I've got so many messages on Discord as well. Who's asking me? Mystery team. Okay. Awesome. Right. And we're about good to go. This is Big Game 5. For anybody that's joining us that doesn't know what's going on, a mystery team of very, very strong players has challenged everybody else on our server with a little bit of talent to fight them, basically. And I'm just not sure. We have 70 people currently in this little island. And I'm just not too sure. 70... We still have people joining now. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to get this up and running because we've been waiting long enough. If you're watching, you don't know what's going on, bear with me. I'm also refereeing this game. So, here we go.
Oh my god.
That is a long
What
list.
happened to the speed?
Vector, mate,
Will it
it's not
change
an
it?
option. Okay, there's a lot of people here trying to be captain that aren't qualified.
Don't know.
It's fine. We can tournament mode. Oh yeah, 1 second. Sorry, I should have done that.
Yeah, you don't need to.
I'll
Just tournament mode it.
Yeah, 2 seconds. I'll run the restart thing again and then tournament mode it. Yeah, that's my bad. I didn't really think that one through, to be fair.
It's fine.
So yeah, no, this will be easier, actually, to be fair. And also it means I don't have to keep flagging people up if they want to play. I can just send them into a team. So yeah, my bad, guys. I was a little few too many spinning plates at the moment, so... But we'll get there, boys. How many people in the server, by the way? Somebody said 70?
Mm-hmm.
FTNS is in here, boys. FTNS is amongst us. 74 online, guys. That's massive. Remember, when you get into the pleb team, guys, join your specific group. You know, we need people to fill roles out to build power, to go for mine ore, go in threat farm, so don't just join and be AFK. Try and take up a role. This is a really serious game, and we're against some really serious gamers. So, yeah. There are also different voice chats you can get into, so make sure you break yourselves up accordingly. Lucky Stone is leading the plebs. So, any issues, talk to me, or any of the other admins, but at the same time, Lucky Stone is running the show here effectively in terms of the strat. Don't hold items.
And a mic.
Sure.
Yeah, mic.
70, yeah, easy win. Oh, come on. Let's get this
Make
game
sure you
started.
don't. Yeah, it's game speed. Game speed 1.
Okay, one question. Difficulty is gonna be normal?
It's going to be ITYTD,
It's gonna be.
the easiest of the game modes. And that's for you guys, not for the guest team.
Okay. I'm
Alright.
just asking, like,
That's
if
all good.
there is anyone point in doing rushes.
That's
Okay,
on
then
team
it is
manager.
rocket.
God damn it, Orbit.
Alright, I'm gonna get teams filtered in, and we will get up and running very, very soon.
Yeah, I just gotta fucking bring one guy back in, cause
Oh yeah, I see.
don't know how the
Now
hell
you
you
have
did
to
that.
restart because there's an extra body.
Who cares?
It's fine.
They
Again,
get extra 10 burners.
we're gonna run that code in a minute. I'm just squaring this thing away. Is there a way we can make sure that people don't just join randomly as well, guys?
You have to assign everyone manually.
You have to assign like
That's
I
I'm fine with that.
people.
That's absolutely fine. Right, we'll get this going. I'll be a little bit AFK whilst I filter through. It's a big odd list of names to get through, so give me a second and we'll get everybody sorted. Can we also freeze players as well, or freeze the game effectively?
I'm gonna put admin vote on.
Yeah, got you. That's a good shout, mate. Holy shit,
Where
this
the
list is
fuck's
massive.
sign again, I forget. Yeah, it's in config.
Okay.
Off. Making sure everything's good.
Are the players
okay,
frozen
where-
when they join as well?
Oh wait, we're playing with one. Is they in the game?
Can we freeze everybody as well if they join? I mean, they wouldn't be running around normally anyway, but
You just click on freeze, player are frozen until you unfreeze. So, be fine.
Cool. Also, let's try and not put any brand new players in until we check them out. Oh wow, who'd have thought there'd be so much organising? But this will be a huge game. Fang can go in. LPO 7 is... Yeah, go for it. Yes, please. Yes, please. Big list. This list is huge. Bilbo is in this way. Carl has probably about 10 minutes left to play. Vixie's in. MXPL is probably watching from far, far away. Ragnar can go across. Max 100. KRS I know. Pavev I do know. Developer is in. I'll leave him to be fixed. Oh wow, so many names, so many new names. Alright, sorry for anybody on stream that's watching this going, what the hell's going on? I do apologise, we're currently sifting through a list of about 70 different names, trying to make sure that people end up on the right team. Once this gets up and running, we will be good to go. I need to run a little bit of code. Right, he's not on the enemy team. Pavev can join. 40 people on North already, guys. Holy shit. Any brand new names, let's hold off joining them for now, and then we'll put them onto a team once we check them. And there's quite a lot of new people, so...
I think they're gonna regret this decision.
I mean, it's a challenge. It's a strong challenge here, so...
Who's G-Whore?
Maybe it's FTNS. We never know. Alright, I'm comfortable. Do any of you guys spot any names that haven't been selected that should be on North that we know of? I think AJ Curry is...
Neuro.
Oh yeah, and Neuro, obviously. But everybody else seems kind of new. I'd need to check them out. So... Are we happy 43 versus 7? Is this enough people? Alright. You do have a chance to get into the game if you're sitting on the island. I just want to get the game started effectively. Right. I need to run some code about starting items, and then we are good to go.
This is gonna turn out like that one fucking Elax versus everyone match.
229. Okay, we'll get them in. I can put 229 in. I think I recognise this guy. But there's lots of names here that I don't know, and rather than them getting into a game they don't understand, we'll just start this up. This is already quite laggy. I need to go and grab that code, which is in our Discord. Again, I'm really sorry this is taking this long to set up, but this should be one hell of a game once it's up and running. Oh my god, so many messages. Leave me alone. Does this work? Can you check your inventories, guys, to see if you have one burner miner?
I can't.
Got you, right. Let me...
You're gonna have to, Oh, you know what? I could just open myself. Wait, I'm not admin, what the fuck?
Oh no.
Who demoted me?
Hang on, I can check somebody's
Viper
inventory.
demoted you.
Yeah, that's everybody's, your inventory is set. Do you want some time to organize?
Okay, it does work.
We want that friendly fire, dude.
Doomman and friendly? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, this is taking a while, but this will be good. So, what is it? Doomman can go up. And friendly fire. Careful pizza as well, because I very much know who that guy is. And friendly fire.
Wait, who's 229? Never seen him.
I'm going to run this one more time.
So, suurläinkäkkamet.
Finally, okay, finally. Sorry for just shouting into the mic there. We have on North 47 players, all experienced Factorio players who play on this server every single day. It's almost 50v7, and we will filter some of these players joining into the game, but just for now, because I need a break and I need to take a drink of water, and we're almost good to go. We have a team of 7 on South. I don't know about you, 47 versus 7 seems a little bit skewed, but this could go either way. I'll explain what's happening to anybody who's just joined this going, what the fuck is this? So bear with me. I'm refereeing this as well as administrating it, and we are slowly but surely about to start. 1 minute remaining.
Anybody on again?
Oh wow, what a game. This might be the most one-sided game of Factorio that I think ever has existed, and I for one cannot wait. Incoherent war cry. Oh, well, they're up for it. If you could see the Discord, they have really... The North, the pleb team, I'm going to call them, the North team, are all our regular players. There's some very strong players in there, but there are also some kind of mixed players too. And South are an organised player. Okay, let's begin. Let me unfreeze everyone. And we're off.
Nope, it's unfrozen, sorry.
They can have it, it's fine.
Good luck, everyone, and remember to get into your respective VC channels as well. I will be filtering in new players, but I also am going to hop off of this so you guys can talk on here. Right, where's my Discord?
Well build the base left. Low trees.
Okay, alright, whilst they organise, let's hop off this. Hop into an empty channel, and then I'll explain to anybody who's actually joining to watch this absolute clown fiesta.
Creating my fucking burner for me.
Guys, you need to get into your respective Discords. You're all in general at the moment, including some of the enemy team.
Our inventory is wrecked, but we have a lot of stuff in the scrap.
Okay. I'm going to join... Obviously, there's not that many people on South, so I'm going to hop into South 3. Let them organise. This is a game of biter battles, which is a little bit different. This is Big Game 5. Please tell me in chat if my music's a little too loud. I want to be able to go through the very basics of what this game is, and so if the music's kind of overpowering my voice, I'm more than happy to kind of level things out. A week ago, actually about 9 days ago, we were challenged as a server by a very organised team of speedrunners. Very, very strong players in their own right, and they currently occupy the South. They're currently, well, I'll name them because there's only 7 of them, right? Rune Boglet, incredibly strong player. Chrono, Timin 8 Or, the Pied Piper, also known as Pipes. If you hear me use the word Pipes, I'll be referring to him. Mystic Amber, Jehor, who could be FTNS, we don't know, and Clutch 331. And this is effectively a larger version of the MCP stack that used to play biter battles in a professional league. On the North team, we have an absolute cornucopia of scrubbery. I'm not going to name all of them, but I'll just point a few of them out. There's one, and another one, and another one, and another one. But there are loads. The aim of this game, effectively, is to protect this item that both teams have. And as you can see, there's a river that divides the map. Both sides of the map are equal, they're just flipped versions. So as you can see, all patches are reflected, and the geometry of each map is reflected on either side. So yeah, you don't want to lose this. This is your key component. This has all your fish inside of it, and effectively what's going to happen throughout the course of the game is that you are against, effectively, the opposition team's bugs. Hence the name Biter Battles. And if I can just pull up my MS Paint high-level analytical tools that I've been using in the last couple of big games, I'll be able to show you roughly what's going to happen. Later on in the game, we are going to see enormous waves of bugs crashing down all across the map, beating up all the infrastructure and the factories and the buildings that are put down by both teams, and effectively fighting their way towards each team's silo. And you might think, well, that sounds kind of crazy. And it is. Both teams are trying to protect, effectively, their rocket silo, and they do this by building defenses, researching deeper into the game, and later on influencing the state of the strength and also the number of the opposition's bugs. There's a lot of oil in... Do you know, I haven't even looked at the map. That is... Yeah, you're right, Skelly. That is... Why aren't you playing the game, mate? Are you not able to make it? Because we can get you in. I think you've got enough experience to join in. But if you want to just sit and chill, I hope you don't mind the music. I thought I'd choose jazz because this is going to be pretty fast paced, so I wanted to put something chill on in the background. Yeah, we do have some really... Oh, and uranium, very close. I feel like every big game we've had, at least for the last 3 or 4, uranium has been within arm's reach of main. Yeah, I don't think that's the right way to spell bear, but whatever. I know can English right now. What a game. 47 versus 7. The North have a couple of different strategies that they're going to employ whilst they try and beat the speedrunning stack. I don't think this is going to be that kind of game that will be doing... Whispering Smiling will be doing pistol. I don't think this game will be going on for a very long period of time. We'll do some predictions later on, but as you can see, the North have organised and are beginning to put down a smelting array, and this will later feed into a mall, and that mall will effectively give their whole team the starting items required to build the base out. You obviously start off with nothing, and both sides have... There's an imbalance here in terms of skill, but there's a lot of equality here in terms of you both don't have anything. How you build, where you build, I know it's massive. And the North team will grow in size once I can filter. I mean, look how many people are here. Once I figure out who these people are, and if they can actually play, they'll be joining a team. Brand new players, unfortunately, just for this game mode, will not be filtered into the teams because there's a very specific game plan. Alright, Carl needs to go. Oh yeah, he only had 20 minutes to play. Oh, sorry we started so late, Carl. We'll get you into spectator. My name's Ghosty. I'm currently refereeing this game. And yeah, feel free to join me on stream. So for those of you who aren't able to play, North's team is Lucky Stone. South team leader is Clutch, I believe, or Pied Piper, or Pipes. I'll be explaining the game mode on there, and we'll be answering any questions. So yeah, I'd prefer anybody here, rather than them get frustrated and not understand what's going on, for them to join me here. And not to pump the numbers up per se, but if, say for instance, I don't know, Phoenix or Basti has never played the game before, they're not going to get a lot out of just standing there and watching. If they hop into chat, or even just kind of point things out, I'm more than happy to explain why, for instance, this many smelters have gone down, or why these players have gone up north to kind of get close to threat farming. This game is very different to standard Factorio, so yeah. But we'll get to all of this. So much going on here that I don't really want to miss out a huge amount. We see 1 or 2 outposts potentially being posted up to the west. How much normal people? This is an event. Seven versus. I don't want to keep going over and over and over it, but I will just post a link 1 second. So that skill-wise, yeah, there is a huge skill difference. It doesn't look like it initially, but there absolutely is an enormous skill gap here. Okay, right. So okay, I'm not a shameless self-plug, I know, but hopefully some of these guys don't get franchised. The reason why we can't put a brand new player in is all it takes is for the speedrunners to zoom ahead in their plans, and somebody who doesn't know what's going on just unplug something out of the blue. Not on purpose, not intentionally, but ultimately, yeah. I can start filtering. Oh no, a Thule can go. Yeah, no, I know some of these people. It's the unknown people that are in the game that I'm not able to, at the moment, check out. I will do down the line, but for anybody that doesn't know what's going on, the best thing for them to do is really just come and watch. I'm happy to explain what's going on, and you'll also kind of be able to ask any questions about what's happening. But yeah, like I said, all it takes is for somebody to come over here and just pull this pole out of the ground. Not intentionally, obviously, but because they're not too sure about the... Hey, Mega Bazal, nice to have you with us, my dude. I did notice you in-game, and I think the reason why I think you'd probably be better served coming in and watching is I can answer any questions you have about what's currently going on in real time, rather than you typing out, you know, big questions in the game. I'm more than happy to kind of explain what's currently going on. We have a team of challengers, effectively. These 7 who are on South are all very strong, ex-professional players who used to play in a league, and so they effectively a week ago challenged basically our whole server. Absolutely, mate, I'm happy to. I'm refereeing the game, I'm administrating this, and I'm also streaming, so I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I am arguably the strongest player in the server, you know. I'm the underground champion of bite battles. I'm also humble and a bit of a legend, but I like to stream on my weekends, and so this game is a pre-planned game, but every Saturday at 4 o'clock my time, I will host a game. This is massive, and it will be bigger. So normally what we would have is 20 or 30 players on North and 20 and 30 players on South. I really recommend spending a bit of time in learning this game mode because it is fascinating. There's so much to it. I'll explain everything along the way. In the early game, effectively what you want to do is somebody build up some power because you start with nothing. The game mode is to defend your rocket silo over here. As you can see, both teams have one, and the map is effectively a mirrored map. So, you know, the ore patches that exist opposite each other. So North don't have an advantage over South at all. It's just about how you play. Later on in the game, waves and waves and waves of bugs which exist to the very, very north or very, very south of each map will kind of come in and try and fight your base and fight your defences. So you can see here we've got some gun turrets down to kind of protect this smelting line. And later on you'll see people fighting the bugs, so going up against them. And that's really important that you do that, and I'll get into that once that does happen. But in the early game, much like any other game of Factorio, you have to start off by automating stuff, and the first thing you really, really want to automate is belts. So you'll see a little bit of smelting going on, a little bit of power that's gone down, and the initial beginnings of your mall, which will provide you all of the items that you need to kind of start the game up. Belts, underground, splitters, you name it, it's going to happen here. The reason why 47 versus 7 seems a little bit insane is because within this player list, there are some talented players, of course, but there are also some people who are in the middle of the road, you know, they're average elo. So the elo, if you were to kind of do the number crunch, this elo here kind of cancels out the number advantage that North have, and that's where this kind of becomes interesting. You have this kind of Spartan group of 7 people who have effectively challenged everyone, and I believe this is going to be a lot closer than people think. You know, I've had a few people say that the North are absolutely going to smash it because they have a numbers advantage. I'm inclined to agree, but it's hard to explain to a fresh player, a new player, just how good some of these players actually are in how efficient they play. And I think that's where the key to this really lies, is these guys don't make many mistakes. It's like a Formula 1 race, you know, each lap is, they squeeze time out of each little step along the way to get the most optimized. Let me check out, I'll check you out. Thule. Okay, I'll throw you back in. The best thing to do is to so yeah, brand new people, I think it's better. You'll get more out of it, you know, than just joining a game and being frustrated, because the guys all have individual roles on North. They've spent a week planning this effectively, so it's great to have you in, but at the same time, you might get in the way of their plans. This isn't really a teaching game, this game, but most captain's games, you can be brand new to people. Yeah, North has multiple bases, and these are called outposts, which is really important into the game. So you'll see some guys building way out here, and they have a very specific goal that they're trying to hit. So, for instance, there'll be one set of people that will find uranium ore, and their whole goal in this is to make sure they provide the main base nuclear power. If I pull out my... Oh, hey man. Hi Brinius, nice to have you here. Is Team South familiar? No, so these are speedrunners who are on Team South. But this is a random map seed, so they don't have the advantage of knowing to hit particular rocks to get certain resources and stuff. The aim of the game mode, as I was just saying, is these bugs will flood in later on towards your base, and if they get to your silo and kill it, you lose. This happens on both sides, by the way. So, you know, both sides are competing against each other, for one, and the bugs later on as they get stronger and they evolve to become kind of behemoths, and yeah, it gets nutty. Like later on you're going to see like millions of entities crashing down onto walls, and yeah, there are different strategies that you can employ in order to kind of stop that from happening, or at the very least defend yourself well enough so that the other team crumbles first. This is a bit, well, not this game particularly, but this game generally, if you were to play in a normal game, is a speed run effectively, but it's a long marathon type speed run where you've got to kind of keep pace with the opposition team. One or two deviating moves and one or two changes in what you research means that the opposition can go ahead of you and get that advantage of researching deeper, becoming safer, or becoming more offensive in throwing signs at the opposition team. The way that you buff the bugs up effectively is you build signs. So obviously you have red signs, which is made out of copper, and obviously metal gears. And from there you can kind of throw signs at the other team, effectively buffing their bugs up to become stronger. At the moment, each side's bugs are 1.4% evolved. They can go above. Yeah, maybe. Hang on a second, sorry. The red signs will buff the bugs up to a certain percent. The next tier, being green, will do a little bit more, and then military, the next tier up, will be a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until you get to white signs, which is what you get from launching a rocket. How is... What's up? Please kick. Okay, that's good. I've got some people helping me in the background, cool. Okay, got you. And I need to run trust command. Sorry, I'm also administrating this game, so any new joiners, feel free to just bear with me a second. I've got one thing I need to do, and then I can get back to explaining the game mode, because there's a lot of stuff we can go through here, and there's lots of very interesting kind of nuanced things. And I just was talking about outposts and threat farming, and obviously science, etc. This is a fresh seed, yeah. Alright, now everybody's trusted, I think. Oh, what an absolute clusterfuck. Anyway, thanks for joining me. We currently have a team of 47 or 46 players up against 7. Some of these guys will be coming into the game. The server name is Biter Battles Captain Game. We are adding more people. So, I need to start checking people out as well. I might have bitten off a bit too much on this one, but we'll see. We'll see. I believe myself to be a relatively fast operator. Alright, Dandy Duck can go in. Yeah. And again, if you have experience in playing the game, you're more than welcome to be joining. You will be joining North. South are a pre-made team, and I'll be going through what they're up to very soon, but the beginning of the game is normally a slow start, and I've got to filter a few people into each individual side. So, I also have to recommend joining Discord too. So you know what the plan is. Okay. Oh, so many people. So many people. And I don't know half of these names as well, so brand new. Anyway. Yeah, both teams starting off quite well. As we can see, South have already got their smelting up. They're building their early research, so they'll be getting through a decent kind of speedy research. We can see initially here now, with obviously more players, North are able to kind of outline what they want to do with their initial kind of research. And we can see here we've got some labs going down, some initial red science building going down, and this will turn into, I guess, this will be the green science. So the first two stages of this game, which what we probably term the early game, is about to take place. I'll talk a little bit about Enkling's outpost here, because I won't be coming back for a while. This outpost specifically is here to make the best of these mixed patches, which you'll see dotted around the map. Then, not all mixed patches are built equal. Some will have enormous amounts of resources. Slinks. I think South are going to have a hard time. South are going to have a really... Hey, Sky Eagle. Nice to have you here, my dude. Feel free to ask any questions if you're new. I will be getting people into the game as well, so I know this is taking a little bit of time, but I need to kind of make sure everybody is who they say they are before I can get people in. And again, if you have less than 10 games, unfortunately, you will be sitting this one out. The reasons being is this is a highly organised game. People have been planning and kind of strategizing over the course of the week, and so they have individual teams of people that they want to play with. So I will be getting people in. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. I'm happy. This isn't necessarily, the game itself is not a teaching game, this one. Mostly because of the speed at which the South team will be playing. These are all ex-professional gamers, so they have a particular speed they go at. And so I don't have a huge amount to kind of say as to what they're doing, because they're doing it incredibly quickly. However, for the North, I'm happy to walk you through what currently is going on, and we can see the first couple of bugs that are coming through. Really not that strong, and something as simple as a gun turret will just easily just melt these guys. There are some people that wanted to join. Slinks joined. How about Hugo Saw? Okay, I can do those two. I'll do a couple of people now. How about... Oh, sorry, my dude, you only have 5 games. This is not for you, my man. Slinks, you're in a team. What are you talking about? You're in North. Hugo Saw, I'll check him out. Okay, Hugo Saw, let's take a look at you. Yeah, it's less than 10 games. So the reason why you're in Twitch. Alright, let me check you out, my dude, Sky Eagle. We've got a small Sky Eagle, search you out. We have a parameter to joining this game. It's not exclusive, but we need you to have more than 10 games in normal beta battles for you to join the North team. The reason for that is that on Discord in the last week, and that's only for today's game, that's only for this particular game, it's because we've been challenged by professional gamers. Anybody that joins needs to have a bit of experience in the game itself. So I'm really sorry, Sky Eagle, you don't have enough games to be selected to join. But what I highly recommend is stick around on stream and ask questions, because I can kind of fill in a lot of gaps in terms of what you don't know. And I can also kind of explain what's currently happening, so that when you do get into a game, you can be seen to be good enough to join these kind of events. This is a one-off event that happens every week. This week we have a bit of an imbalance. As you can see, there are 48 players on North, which is kind of insane, and only 7 on South. But yeah, unfortunately the 2 guys I checked out, you need just a bit of experience. There's a lot of moving parts here, and lots of things are going to happen very quickly. Effectively, this is going to be a normal game on steroids because of the imbalance in skill on South, and also the imbalance on numbers on North. So yeah, stick around, man. Honestly, this game mode is really worth learning, and there's a lot going on here. So yeah, unfortunately I can't get these people in, but I highly recommend sticking around on stream and ask questions because there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of kind of nuance and stuff going on. How is there a way to check how many games you played? Yeah, I'll send you the link to that. I'll send you the link to the search. Here we go. BB Raven. I'll put that into chat for anybody who wants to take a look. You can also Google or search the teams that are currently on South, and you'll see how strong both of these are. Man, there's a lot of administrating here. Like, I know we've got a few players that are joining that are new. Right, anyway, do you know what? I'll take a break for now. I've got a lot of people here. I don't want to kind of just for one person. 12 games it says. Hugo, let's take a look. Hugo S. Oh, it does. Well, I looked at the wrong Hugo. Okay, I'll get you in. Absolutely, you're right. Sorry, I typed in the wrong Hugo. We've got a few. Obviously, there's hundreds of different names here, so I might have just typed in one letter incorrectly. Skelly Boy's on one game. That's fine. Here you go, mate. Join the game. Join the game. And if you ever get confused, feel free to stay on stream and just ask questions. But remember, everybody has a role here, so try and find something that you can add to the team, something you can give, like building power, threat farming, you name it. Yeah, awesome. Go threat farm, my dude. Enjoy yourself. Alright, let's take a quick look at what's happening. The map is slowly kind of settled itself down. We have a huge power outpost here that could turn into something else. We have a defensive outpost here. Enkling's goal in this is to make the most of this mixed patch here and effectively thread as much as throughput as he can in terms of things like... Hey, what's up, Hugo? I think I eventually got you into a game, unless this is a different account. But if you get confused, feel free to stick around and I'll happily answer any questions. So if you want to know what the best way to threat farm and... that's all good, my dude. I'm slowly but surely... I'm not a very good streamer because I'm very new to this. And I'm not very good at dealing with lots of things all at once, so I'm slowly juggling a couple of different things. Any questions, feel free to ask, and I'm happy to answer. Okay, give me some time. It's not easy. So many new people. South of they're steaming ahead. I'm gonna zoom out while if you have a look at the different, I'll take the players' names off. If you have a look at the building structures, South are actually slightly further ahead in terms of main. South are doing well. So alright, so it's Anumis. Oh, I do recognise that guy actually. What was his name? Oh, fuck's sake. Anumis. Yeah, he does. He has 30 games. You can go in. Frotho Max, hey man. Nice to have you here. Yeah, true. Very true. So South are going to be a one-man band. Effectively, they're going to be up against it in terms of the threat that those outposts can pose. Where's my man Anonymous? Here we go. He can go across, my man. So yeah, we have one outpost over here that currently has Neuro and KRS. This is going to be a monster. Neuro absolutely has been looking forward to this game all week. He's been messaging me about what it's going to be and who we're up against. So there are some real keen people here, and we can see making the best out of these mixed patches. KRS, again, a very strong player, and they've gone for, as we can see, a laser outpost. This will be an interesting one to check back into because I don't know if the game is going to get to lasers. I hope it does. Bilbo, meanwhile, out here making use of another mixed patch with lots of large copper patches out here. And later on in the game, for anybody new, for the late game kind of mixed builds, you need enormous amounts of resources, and so these copper patches could potentially be fueling another rocket later into the game as we kind of cruise over. Spock's spam outpost, excellent. So this is going to be trying to just pump up the opposition's threat so they don't have a good time. Main, meanwhile, slowly but surely rattling out signs. We can see here green and red currently down, and yeah, all good, mate, all good. And we can see them chesting some initial starting items that will help them speed their own building up down the line. And yeah, slowly but surely filtering all of these main kind of ore patches into their smelters. And yeah, they're up and running. Meanwhile in South, smelters are up and running. They even have some steel production on, and they're chesting steel too. And again, they're keeping pace, you know. So far, I think the speedrunners, whenever I talk about the South team, I'm not going to take into account North's outposts. I'm just going to match North versus South's main against each other. We have obviously these threat farming outposts coming into play, and later on they'll be massive. Menander, not too sure what's happening over here. This could be another spam outpost. And yeah, MXL, PPXL, going for a spam outpost. You'd love to see it. So yeah, we can see some early game shenanigans on the cards, as well as DGSS out here doing God's work, breaking rocks. Do we have anybody else? Vixie, counterproductive. Okay, and here we go. This is the main thrust of North's idea. It's great to have a big main, and it's amazing to have individual outposts sending you lasers, but you do need a rocket. And who do we have here? Cognitive Fun, Elp. Wow, this is a really, really strong outpost. Friendly Fire, Max. I believe Friendly Fire is the strongest player in the server as we stand. Max, Friendly, 84, Outstanding, LPO7. These players, and I will check in on these guys regularly, are very, very strong players going for an incredibly late game build at the beginning of the game. You're making your intentions very, very well known early on by doing this. And obviously the threat here is on HSXU, just no idea, out in no man's land over here. Probably another spam outpost. The way that you beat very, very skilled players, alright, let's check you out, Megabozil. Again, there is a cap to how many people you need to have a certain amount of games. Megabozil, you have. Do you know what, mate? I'll get you into the game. Try and find something that you can do that will add to the team's effort, to the team's energy. We need people to be. You do, and I'll get you in. But just be aware that everybody has a very set way of playing in this game. So if somebody asks you to do something, the best thing to do is go, yeah mate, I'm in, I'll help you. But if not, try and find something that you can do to help, like building power, or just generally threat farming, or help building up the base. Unfortunately in this game, one incorrect move could be the end of the game, and that's why we're being very selective about getting people in. For anybody joining, this is Big Game 5. You'll see 51 players on North, the plebs, effectively. And we have 7 players on the South. What North's plan is, and I don't think I'm giving anything away here, they have a couple of outposts here to the west, and also a few to the east, that will be spamming science at the opposition's bugs, pumping up the evolution numbers so that it becomes unmanageable for the South to build, unimpeded. And as you can see, there are small amounts of bugs at this point in time, kind of slowly making their way into the opposition base. Now these guys aren't very strong, and there aren't that many of them, and yeah, a couple of gun turrets will do the job, you know, just blow them away. Later on, however, they are big enough, dangerous enough, and aggressive enough to really cause you problems. So you need to look at how you defend yourself, as well as how you progress the game. And ultimately, this is a power struggle. You know, you're going to be constantly wanting to improve, whilst not regressing by rebuilding things. So you have a few players out here that will be building defensive-specific outposts, if I can get those words out. I need to remember to have a coffee this time as well. Last week I did not have an extra coffee and I fell off the map. There's just so much going on. So yeah, spam outposts, and main. Progressing, they have their early game signs being built, obviously red. All you need to build this is basic copper plates and iron gear wheels, and that'll spit you out some of the most basic and fundamental research. Meanwhile for green, all you need is yellow inserters, I say all, and belts, and that'll give you the first 2 levels of science. I highly recommend, if you're a brand new player, learning how to build this. This is a fantastic little structure called a mall, and your early game research, and yeah, this helps your game start up real quick. So, moving on. Enormous amounts of power have gone down. It looks like J-Hor is your power guy. Could be FTNS, we don't know. Mr. Camber. And these guys are coming in. There's been no send so far though. So far so good in that respect. But yeah, you see every now and again the bugs will just slowly meander in. They're just annoying at this point. They're not going to do any damage, but if they can pick off like one smelter, one little smelting array or a lab, they've kind of earned their worth. You know, these guys cost nothing. They're just randomly coming in, and what do they take, a building or 2? Runeboggler, having to melee them down. Okay, this is not an optimized strat. So again, you don't want to be regressing, having to build this building again. So effectively what you need to do is create effective strategies and plans in order to stop them from, you know, killing off a research lab is kind of big early game, you know. 1 or 2 of these goes down, and that's another lab. You're slowing down your own research speed. and you're gonna have to rebuild this stuff. So yeah, early hit from the South team. It's not massive, it's not major, but yeah, South is already doing better. I kind of agree. But strength in numbers. I'm with the North. You know, I'm meant to be impartial. I'm the referee of this game, but ape together strong. You know, I'm rooting for these guys, for the plebs, because yeah, it's no mean feat. And where we'll really see a change or in direction or a divergence isn't in this early game. It kind of all goes the same. You build your ball, you then build your science, you feed your labs, and then you just get through the first few. It's like riding a bike. You need to get through those early gears. We do see, however, on the North some threat farming, and this is something I definitely want to talk about. If you don't mind, since we're in the early game, and I really don't want to string anybody out here, I'm going to go and make a coffee really, really quickly. It's taken us a little bit of time to set this game up, so that I have enough energy later to continue casting and speaking and just, you know, kind of getting through the points that we're kind of currently get through. So I'm just going to go and get a coffee, if that's right with everybody. I'll be really, really quick, literally 2 minutes. My kettle's in the next room. So yeah, hopefully you don't mind the music. Bear with me, I'll be back in a second. Alright, awesome. I've got my coffee. We're back in action. We have a first end. So, I'll talk about this. I'm sure a lot of you watching actually play the game, so I might be covering grounds you already kind of know about, but the way that you kind of annoy the opposition team and effectively later on beat them is you pump up the numbers, you pump their bugs up. There's only one way you can do this. Naturally, over time, as the game progresses, this number will increase. In the early game, however, I'll tell you what I'll do as well. Sorry, 1 second. I noticed this about other game modes, and what I'd like to do is shift chat away. So that, there we go, that's a bit clearer, isn't it? I've just picked up on that now. After weeks of doing this. Sorry, I will be able to read your chat messages if you do send me a message, by the way. I've noticed that in previous broadcasts that one part of the screen's kind of slightly covered. The way that you annoy the opposition team is you force their number up a little bit. And the way you do this is you build science, and then you effectively, there's a button on the top left-hand part of your screen, you click send, and that science will be thrown over to the opposition bugs, who currently exist down here, and they will be pumped up by a small amount. And as we can see here, if we have a look at the mutagen log, those 58 green signs pump them up by 1.2%. and also increase their numbers by 32. And that effectively means at any given time, 210 bugs effectively exist on that map who are angry and want to come fight you. Not all at once. South handcrafting refinery stuff. Is that the play? I mean, I don't want to be rude. These guys clearly know what they're doing, but maybe they have an optimized amount of refineries they want to go for. We can see already that they're aiming for military science, but the spam is coming in early. And this is where the game mode slightly differs, is that some people prioritize really pushing into the game, really getting deep into their research, and having to manually defend, which is what the South will have to do for now. They have to kind of put these turrets down and then feed them, magazines. Resource starved, yeah. They're going to have to defend smaller waves but slightly stronger bugs. Later on in the game, this number will be incredibly high. Yeah. I've heard on the grapevine that they've been planning for this. They've been strategizing, they've been training, so everything that South do is a very finely tuned play, effectively. This is like boxing strategy. They know what their North are going to bring, and they've got the perfect counterpunch to it. It's just a numbers game. You've got 50 people against 7. Oh, Colden's in. Hey, let's get you in, mate, because I know you've been wanting to play this for a while. Is there anybody? Oh, Guia's down. No. Oh no, that's not my I'm an idiot. What's my Twitch? I'm not by the way, anybody watching this, I'm not trying to be a streamer, so I'm pretty crap at all this stuff. I'm more of a player who has Saturday afternoon off, and instead of playing because I'm absolutely knackered, I host games. So every weekend you'll see me hosting a game like this, and feel free to hop into those games. The only reason why we're not allowing brand new players into this, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself too often, is all it takes is for a player, not on purpose, but just, because they're not too sure what to do, to remove a power pole or a pipe, and it just slows the team down a little bit to the point where the game is slowly kind of turned in the opposition's favour, and it's just a misplay. I'm not saying that's griefing, I'm certainly not saying that the player did it on purpose, but what I am saying is that there are so many moving parts to this specific game because of the nature of the team that they're playing against, and all of these 7 players are professional players. They've been planning, they've been training for this, they've had 9 days to get this strategy down, that even the smallest of misstep on the North will put them severely behind. And that's the only reason why we're not allowing completely fresh players in. Every other game that we host, if you're a brand new player, you absolutely can come and join. This is a very niche game that we're hosting at the moment, so if you're brand new, feel free to ask any question you want in chat. I'm happy to go through what's happening. I'm happy to talk about the different strategies the teams are employing, why we have people, for instance, who are way out here. What the hell is this all about? What's this guy doing? Happy to go through all of that. And this is my favorite strategy, by the way. If you want to kind of copy anybody, I'd happily recommend Enkling's threat farming build. This is a very unique, verbose way of defending later into the game, but also kind of manipulating your team's threat to give you a bit of breathing room and a bit of advantage. So another 69 nice green signs from Spox's outpost is being thrown. These bases exist only to annoy the opposition team. You can only really throw green signs for so long before it becomes redundant, and those resources are best placed elsewhere. However, you're seeing that dealing with 8% bugs is much harder than dealing with 4.5% strength. And obviously the numbers are slightly different as well. North are manipulating their side to the point where they're not getting attacked in the early game. Some people think this is a waste of time. I disagree. I think it's a highly prioritized strategy if you're playing against organized teams. But that said, you have different playstyles for different people, and everybody has a different kind of way of going about solving the problems they need to. So, yeah. And here, the rocket outpost. Again, we can already see that they're building immense amounts of smelting. There are some huge patches out here that they can tap into, and this I highly think will be reaching a rocket around about the same time that South's main is too. With that said, South only have to deal with a small amount of of space. And we can see already military science flooding into the south researching. And this just means that they push deeper into the game earlier. You know, it gives them an advantage. Having an advantage is one thing, but making the most of one is another. Meanwhile, we look on to south. Military science as well. Much larger researching, it looks like, too. But it is trickling in. It's trickling in. Is it because of power? No, we're looking good. So yeah, we now need to think about defense. My favorite topic to talk about, because I get to use my funky arrows. So obviously, later on in the game, bugs are going to be crashing down into waves, and they're going to try and kill you off and effectively get to your silo. Later on, they'll be incredibly strong, and they will try and ruin your day. Starting on refinery, but behind north. Yeah, there does seem to be a small disparity in that, but I think they will have a smaller space to... The way I look at south is, I don't think they're going to really spread out that much. I think they're going to keep in a very contained space. And we can see Clutch already going for oil. So effectively what you want to do in the mid game is you want to kind of put a box around your base of walls and defensive area, defensive structure, sorry. And how you kind of coordinate this wall and how you coordinate the box that you put yourself in really dictates what you have access to, as well as how much room you have to build. And yeah, they are smarter. This level of AI is horrific. And I mean that. I'll give you a bit of an example, right? I'll take a random outpost and I'll tell you a little story of me playing a game a few weeks ago. So me and Bill, I think it was either Bilbo or maybe even Neuro, we were in an outpost like this. Way, way far away from the main base. Every now and again you'll get one or two bugs running at you, but you don't really have to deal with anything other than these little slugs in the ground and worms. And in the olden days, in the Stone Age, I'll just use my my tools, your box effectively, your defensive box, was about this. That's the area you need to really look at to defend, right? But realistically, the old AI, the older bugs from the old patch, would only really come at very obvious angles, right? They just come here, from the north, because you're on the north team and that's where they spawn from, right? And when you do that, it's really easy to defend this, because you can set up flamers, you can set up lasers in a line like this, and just carry on building a rocket. Jobs are good and no worries, no issues at all. Now, the defensive box remains the same, and apologise if I'm explaining any of this stuff to people that have played the game a lot. I know that this is kind of obvious. Your defensive box is roughly this size, for the base this size. As your base expands, the box expands. But the bugs started doing weird things. So I was playing with Bilbo, and I got an attack. I was playing on north, and I got an attack from here, which makes absolutely no sense. So I said to Bilbo, alright mate, I need to put we've got some weird attacks coming in, I need to stick some defences to our south. Thinking that all of the attacks would come from the north, as they had done before. What I'd forgotten to check was that overnight they'd kind of patched the pathing of the bugs, and the kind of AI had changed. So, okay, we got attacked from the south, and it didn't work. My kind of flamers and my turrets killed them off. So I'm thinking, alright, great, we just wait for the north attack, and we're covered from that south corner where somehow they managed to make it through. You could think, well, maybe the next attack will come from here. It didn't. It came from here. It absolutely smashed us in a side which we'd never normally see any bugs coming in from. And the way that they were pathing, if I can just get back to a more zoomed out area, is that they would normally path, in the old version, directly towards your silo. They're looking to come in, they're looking to get to that objective, because if they can kill that, then there is no game. You've lost. It's like losing your king in chess. What they were doing was, they were pathing around everything that we'd built, and were coming in directly from behind, as well as pathing down, avoiding going to main base, and just coming and sniping outposts. And this is something that I don't know if the speedrunners have been playing against. The bugs are a lot smarter than average Factorio bugs. So the way that this game is made difficult is not only that you're playing another team that are racing you to an endpoint, you're also fighting a very sophisticated AI. And I say sophisticated, it's just bugs at the end of the day, but later on you'll see some of their attack patterns are kind of super frustrating to deal with. And you have to eventually defend. You cannot be kind of using your time. This is 1/7 of South's manpower fighting the bugs. Eventually you need to stick down some static defense in the shape of walls. In the early game, some gun turrets, but later on you'll see, here we go, fantastic, right on cue, some flame turrets and pipes connecting them to oil, so that you don't have to worry about these walls going down. The bugs effectively will burn as they come and attack your structures. Again, any questions in chat, feel free to ask. I was going to go through threat farming, but if you want me to focus a little bit more on main building, or on the outposts, feel free to ask, feel free to hang out. If you think I should be focusing on south a little bit more too, absolutely will do. They're already on what looks like red ships and flame turrets, so yeah, they're keeping pace. The build is ambitious as well, as you can see, so I'm assuming once this gets fueled with plastic, the threat farming, the early signs throws seem to be working for south, but they've known for a week now, just over a week, the south team, about this. So whether they send somebody out threat farming as well, or, as Chrono's doing, set up some defense and just kind of slowly bait them towards one specific point, this could be their play of dealing with the bugs. Go up to them. Don't let them come to you, go up to them. And that brings me neatly over to what these guys are doing. These two guys, Hydrochronics, an absolute legend by the way, and Monkeylol. Effectively, by going up to the bugs and fighting them, they're forcing the threat number, the amount of aggressive entities, and there's two different numbers to this. There's the amount of stuff that's on the map, as you can see, there's loads of stuff. But at any given time, there are an aggressive number of those who will break away from this area and come and fight you, and we can see that on the south. They're dealing with a couple of random, groups running at them. With north, they're actively going up into the bug territory, engaging the hostile bugs, and pushing the number of positive threats coming towards you into the negative. And what this effectively does is the map needs to respawn at least 1,100 new entities before they become aggressive towards you again. Effectively, a negative number is a good number for you, and it's a bad number for the opposition, because here, 52 players are currently completely free from any attacks because of 2 players' efforts. And later on we'll see many more people doing this, but for now, 2 people getting your threat to minus 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever it is, it's a really, really good amount of time. If they were to... Oh no. That's what you get for trying to be a referee, my man. You do need to heal yourself up, and later on when the bugs get really, really strong, you need to be worried about, them taking you out. Here we have the initial defender play coming out. Oh, I love this, my favourite way of playing the game, and this is exactly why Enkling built this defensive outpost out here, is to provide the defenders with as many fish. How the hell did he get that many? What the hell? 700, okay. Niche play, but we'll take it. Yeah, this whole factory exists to build defenders, to build grenades, and to build some ammo, so that you can effectively go and take a fight with the bugs, pick a fight with them. And as you can see, these little robots swinging around will effectively do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. You don't really need to kind of focus on doing too much. Can I join the game? Yeah, sure. Give me a sec. I'm just going to check out this player. I do recognise the name, so once I've... NJQR... Yeah, he has like 400 games. Let's get him in. Am I blind? There we go, yep. Get you in. Awesome. So yeah, for now, threat farming will exist. Yeah, I know, sorry man. It's been a chaotic day. Like an hour before the game started, they wanted some changes, and we had to find some code to do that, and yeah, it's been fun though. I'm looking forward to this, and so far it's not disappointing. Given their figures, I think anything we do is productive. Chrono and Mr. Camber though, setting up some defenses. A very strong play. They wanted, so that the stack team, Pipes and Clutch, they wanted to have a Factorio vanilla start effectively with 1 burner miner per player. The argument being that if obviously we have 50 players with 10 burner miners each, as the game starts, 500 burner miners go down at the beginning of a game, which is a little bit imbalanced. I'm going to be honest, I agree in principle, it's just the timing of the thing came really. I was just kind of woken up, had my coffee, and they were like, we need things to change. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do. So we sorted that one out pretty quickly though, to be fair. So the spam outposts going very well. It looks like they're just going to stick to green and flamers. Okay, there's slight deviation here from Spox. I like it. Let's head out to the far west. KRS and Neuro definitely aiming out here for something strong. I'm not too sure what, but it doesn't. So that's a really good question, Hugo, and I'm glad you asked this because it is something that a lot of people have speculated over. Now, you can, I've always assumed, although I don't have any hard proof of this, that by carving a certain path into the bug's area, you effectively force their pathing to change. You manipulate their pathing. But I'm not entirely sure with the new AI. Definitely with the old AI, I think by taking out chunks, let me just zoom out real quick. I think if you were to, for instance, delete chunks of the map, so let's say you kill off this area and this area, you're kind of effectively channeling them down, you know, because nothing exists on the other side. In the olden days, I would totally agree with you. Now, though, the pathing is so random, and there's an even more aggressive version of the bugs on a test server that are like smart, so they learn from you. We played one game of it. We haven't played it since. It was the worst game I've ever played because we just got beaten up. I've never had, even playing things like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, like I've never played against an AI that hates me so much. It was horrible. That we will be playing against them like that at times. Yeah, it's horrible, man. And somebody posted I'm no programmer, so sorry if I kind of sound like a bit of an idiot talking about this stuff. Somebody posted the algorithm they'd used, and it's some like deep learning. It's fucking nuts, mate. It honestly scares crap out of me, this stuff. Blue signs down on south, so we'll get chatting as well. I definitely want to chat to you guys because there's a lot of you in here. I don't want to miss a beat. Meanwhile, north don't have blue going into labs. So could we assume that south is slightly ahead if blue's up? So far 0 products being finished. Oh no. Here we go. The openings of blue signs from the south, and they're also kind of chesting up red chips, which is a very smart play. Runeboggler being this guy's a speed hack. If he plays solo in your game, there's a very strong chance he's just going to get your team a win. A very compact design as well, but this is something that's going to hamper them. You can't keep feeding turrets for the entire game. But yeah, so I really like this design. It's so compact, but really like incredibly well fed as well. You sometimes see people with really ambitious builds, but they just can't get the resources down in time. Like they don't have the steel, for instance, on north. Whereas, and obviously everything south are doing is immensely optimized. I mean, I'd love to watch this back just to see what the hell they decided. Or I might ask them post-game, actually, do an interview about what the strategy was. Let me ask that. Maybe you guys would get something out of that. I'm going to interview both captains. I think a post-game interview would be great, because you'd be able to kind of hear their thoughts about, oh yeah, you know, we thought we had this, but it seems to me like Mr. Camber and Chrono are down on D, and Pipes, J-Hor, Runeboggler, and Timin, they're just going in. They're going in quick as well. This is very impressive. If you haven't played the game a lot, or you're new to this game mode, the speed at which these 7 players have managed to build up main, compared to, let's say, 10 to 12 players here, you know, division of labour is key in this game mode, but at the same time, if you're behind a step or two, the opposition get an advantage, and then, you know, what they do with that advantage is completely up to them. But yeah, really interesting. We do, however, see a rocket outpost, and this will take off. No pun intended, obviously. Rocket outpost.
Hello once again.
Hey mate, how's it going?
It's fine. Can I join the game?
Are you in? Do you want me to shift you over to north?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's cool, mate. I'm trying to keep this channel for disputes, though, so remember to join your Disco. But yeah, I'll get you in. Is gone.
Okay.
I blind. Oh, here we go. Yeah, my bad. Get you over.
Thanks.
All good, man. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, incredibly compact design. They've managed to. Can I get in? Of course you can. Yeah, you can, mate. Just Bob can join. Kingo Fu, Just Bob. Yeah, I know you guys. You should really have been in a while ago, but. So we now have 54 players against 7. I've never seen such stack dogs, but you know, it's the outposts. Oh, rip. Smiling NASA. You hate to see it. Oh, he's miles away with Whisper as well. Did they build cars? Well, no, they won't have yet, but. Oh dear. So yeah, transitioning into blue science is normally a good indicator that we're heading pretty swiftly into the mid game. They have really good power structures down on south, so massive old banks of power. This isn't like normal Factorio where you have kind of things, you know, really compact. This will turn into an enormous base. In fact, it seems like there's some satellite bases as well that will also be tacked onto the edge of this. We see Colden here with the green spam and chests of hundreds of green signs, which effectively will start pushing South's defences up and up and up and up. I don't think we've had a death on South yet though, and with the amount of oil around them and their defensive structure so far, you can imagine that they can wall themselves in pretty quickly. So the way that you defend this game long term is you effectively need static structures to absorb the waves and waves of bugs that are being that are coming at you. And as you can see now that we're not going through, you know, 10 to 20 things being thrown. You know, initially the first 58 jugs that went across did 1.2% increase. We're seeing 400 being thrown and seeing a 1.8 increase and 141 extra angry bugs coming at them. So, you know, this could really get out of hand for South if they don't defend, and it looks like they are really keen on defending. So a little bit of pain in the early game having to deal with these waves, but if they do, and obviously they are currently doing that, they're going to cruise into the mid game pretty well defended. Meanwhile on North, obviously they've been threat farming, so they do have a minus number of now almost 6,000, which I think if they were to stop doing this would give them about half an hour's worth of breathing space. If they don't defend themselves, they're not, you know, you need to kind of close your base up effectively, and I'm not sure who's aiming to do that, who's putting down a load of walls, and or maybe overconfidently the North are going, do you know what, we just need to speed run to a rocket. And if that's the case, they might leave themselves wide open. I don't want to foreshadow this at all, but I do believe that, you know, you need to play the game as standard. There are certain things that need to happen, and one of them being defense. Now we see a wall that's gone down, that's great, and some flamers as well, but you can't neglect your own base because you're confident that the South will be overrun. These people are going to be quick. Not only are they going to be quick, they're not going to mess around. So there's no 1 minute of standing around, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, or, you know, they're already powering past the blue part of the game. And obviously beyond this we have purple, yellow, and then the end game white signs, which I believe the South team are aiming for. I think that's the only reason they're here, is to launch rockets against North and break them with massive, vast amounts of signs going up against them. So no real deviation on South. There's not a huge amount to talk about because there's not a lot of players. However, you know, what they are doing is very impressive. So anybody watching this back thinking this is normal, this is not normal. For 1 hour into the game for South to have hit blue signs with only 7 people involved, whilst managing constant threat against them, yeah, they're doing very, very well. I'm not sure how the middle of this game goes, but I imagine that South will take an advantage. It's only when it comes to the end game that I think the North will cruise kind of slightly past them, with some of these outposts coming into play later. So I'm not too sure what the purpose of these are just yet, but I am very sure that there will be a plan for each and every person that's come out to these areas, whether it be east or west, to have some kind of impact and input. And even if it is just to spam signs or build a secondary base, they're all important, you'd hope. Also, for anybody watching, thanks for joining me. I'm sure a lot of you guys are either in game or you know, maybe some of you are brand new. But yeah, thanks for being here. This game is taking a while to set up. I'm aware that it could go any which way. So this could end in the next 20 minutes if, say, for instance, South don't defend, or, you know, North just somehow don't put anything here and the bugs just come all the way through. But yeah, this is probably the biggest game we've ever had, and the most imbalanced game we've ever had as well. So a couple of firsts on this one, and it'll be good to watch back to see the difference in playstyles, but also the difference in timing as well. Okay, so slight look into the late game here from South. Already they're looking at getting speed 1 and productivity 1 modules on. Incredibly needed for the late game builds. I'll talk about them later on obviously, but at the moment as it stands, I think they're very comfortably, with a couple of defensive plays being made, 7 players against 55 have cruised into the mid game relatively unscathed. You know, Jehor pretty much doing the brunt of the power build. Mystic taking a quick break, Runeboggler getting oil down with pipes, Tim just getting into this kind of science area and just smashing it out. Meanwhile, North have a decent setup in their smelting. You know, they are ticking away quite nicely, and Bloon's now flying into their base, so they are getting through the research relatively quickly. Their strength, obviously, is all of these kind of satellite outposts. I do think, though, committing to this level of spam, which is fine, by the way, you can transition this into other things, but committing to this level of spam, whilst taking, you know, 3 or 4 players away to do this, you could argue, obviously, if you have 55, you kind of lose a few people to spam outposts, that's great, will lose its efficiency later on. Once South become well defended and they have lasers up, green spam isn't going to do anything. It'd be like throwing a deck chair off the Titanic. You're not going to stop things from sinking just by making that one play. So, yeah, how this develops and in which direction it develops is what I'm most looking forward to. And I like the fact that this outpost specifically has noticed that they will have an excess amount of things like steel and iron, so they've managed to kind of get some flamers down. You want to spectate? Yeah, okay, mate, I'll pull you. You want to go back to Spectator Island? Got you. Cool name, by the way. Got you, mate, got you. And yeah, I hope you guys like the music. I thought I'd pick something really chilled today because it could have gone all over the place and I need something relaxing to listen to. Here we go. Right, you're heading back, my dude. Spock's with a massive send of 593. Again, that's not going to do a huge amount, but they're dealing with 21% evolution now. And obviously with the pathing, as I was speaking about beforehand, it doesn't necessarily always come in the direction which your defences aim. You kind of want them to crash into these areas, but there's a high likelihood, and as we can see here, as I draw on the map, and there's a real life example, we can see a pack of bugs coming in from the side. So the way the AI works in this game is absolutely nuts. But again, you'll have heard me say this. There is a ninja squad, mate. They're coming in. Ninja style. Clutch with the solid defense, though. Very solid defensive plays. So yeah. Oh yeah, I need to drink away from the mic. I listened back to last game and you could hear me drinking. I was like, oh, it's horrible. So apologies. I'm new to streaming. I don't know all the little things that you shouldn't do. So also apparently I swear too much, which I think is fucking outrageous. But yeah, it's not family friendly, unfortunately, and I do apologise for that. So yeah, we're looking at bots. Ooh, okay. South have 9 bots, which you might think is not a big deal, but it really is. We're an hour and 5 minutes in. Having, you know, bots being built at this stage is, you know, think about this, right? That's 14 little individual things, once you have your robobots down, jobs that you don't necessarily have to do. As a team of 7, having 100 bots online, massive, absolutely massive. And I think that they genuinely have taken a lead here. I can't see main... Have they aimed for this, or are they looking at another out? Oh no, they are. They're aiming for it. But at the same time, I don't think they are. I think they're behind. I think they're quite behind as well. I'm going to take a guess and say that South will have built about 200 bots before North get theirs up and running. That's something I want to kind of measure. I just want to see, because there is a slight deviation. Obviously, you can see them flying around here, doing little jobs. I think this is going to get close to the 150, 200 mark before North get theirs up and running. And that is huge. For a 7-person team, that's massive. Now again, taking out of account the outposts that exist, let's see what Bilbo's doing. Sign spam? No. Bilbo's just going for, Milsai, could work. Okay. So these outposts exist only to antagonize. These are offensive structures. They don't offend people, you know, they're not like racist or anything, but they exist to antagonize. They exist to annoy South's team. South don't want to have an easy ride. These are all incredibly strong players, incredibly quick players, and given no opposition, they will win. I think that if there were no bugs coming at you and you just dealt with passive increases in Evo, so obviously North are, they hurt my feeling, they hurt my eyeballs. North dealing with only 7% natural evolution, these guys on the South would clearly run away with this. This would not be a challenge at all. But by pushing the bugs up to 20-odd%, 30, 40, 50, whatever, and then obviously they come in larger packs with medium bugs now as well. Gun turrets aren't going to do anything for you now. It's all about putting flamers down, putting a wall down, and fair play to Chrono Man. This is thankless task. If you've ever played a game of this before, you know what it's like to be this guy. If you've been playing correctly, that is. You've got all the walls, you have all the defensive structures, and nobody is coming to help you, and it's just on you. you know, and if you get this down, then you survive and you win, and if you don't, you know, the bugs will come in and they'll hit something horrible like your power, and all of a sudden you have to spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes rebuilding something you already had because you couldn't plan for the amount of carnage coming your way. So yeah, Clutch is building. Do you think this will be a counter spam? Do they even have room for counter spam on South? You know, do they even care about throwing anything? That's quite an interesting question actually, because I didn't think. I'm not saying Clutch is doing that, but I'm saying that you could potentially on the side have something this, you know, chesting a few thousand green signs to kind of fight back the North. But yeah. Oh, I need to also say, yeah. Any. Everything's been planned out already. So yeah, North have been planning this on Discord for a very long time, and it's gonna take a hell of a challenge. Do water barrels count? Of course. Alright, let's check in on the rocket outpost. They are progressing now. So we can see obviously big plans for huge oil. They clearly need a lot of chips to get to that late game. Obviously you'll need a lot of red and green in order to create blue chips, and later on we'll see some mixed builds going down. I can safely say now, after 1 hour, both teams have transitioned into the mid game. Typically this would only occur around about the 2 hour mark, but because of the number of players on North and also the quality of players on South, not saying that North don't have any qualities, but flanking, they are. And like I said earlier, all it takes is maybe J-Hor doesn't have any like good defense on him, like a grenade or two. Although I'd imagine that, yeah, he does. I mean, these guys, I'm going to be honest, these guys have been practicing for this. I mean, they set up their own servers and everything so that they could run this scenario out. So, yeah, not having the correct defense there means potentially you lose a little bit of this. 100, okay, on average 100. But that's a clear... Okay, yeah, that's a clear advantage, right? Got you. Yeah. So, yeah. It's going well for North as well. I don't want to keep pumping up South's tyres. I just think it's impressive what they're managing to do with such adversity in terms of the numbers against them. So this really is David versus Goliath. I know it's pretty chill at the moment. There's not a huge amount of action going on. We're not watching entire bases getting ripped up but, you know, bear with. That will happen. It always does. You know, there are no draws in biter battles. Again, if you're brand new and you don't know what's going on, there are a couple of really experienced players in chat as well who will be happy to explain what's going on, as well as me. If you want to look at a certain part of the map or you know, check out some threat farming, for instance, happy to do it. I talked a little bit about this last week. I think I gave away my plans because I'm quite well known for doing this in game. Because if you left me to build, I'd just win the game on my own. You know, stay humble. #. But threat farming is underrated, I highly believe. And some people think it's a waste of resources, and I do agree if you don't plan on doing this. But if threat farming is part of your plan, which I think it should be on most games, you'd have to have a very specific game, like maybe a turtle map or a bridge game where you wouldn't aim to do this. This is a one-man band. You know, help. So at 17,000, you could argue that's a safe number for the North, but it's not going to be safe forever. You know, you're not going to be able to sit at minus 17k for too long. You know, give it an hour's time, that becomes positive, and you have to deal with active threats rather than passive non-threats. So yeah, divide your time wisely is what I'm saying. If you think it's the right play, make the play, 100%. But we do have some idlers here. Let's see, how many people are moving? And this is where, you know, if you have 52 players, how many of them are really on? So again, I'm not saying this is a negative, but there are a lot of people who are not really playing. So there could be a conflated amount of experience on North. Conflated. Alright, rocket outpost. What's HSE? All the way out here to the east. Are we looking at a spam outpost? Potentially a green spam. Smiling Nasser and Whisper. I'm looking for pistols and water barrels. No? Oh, wow, they're actually playing the game. Absolute madness. Okay, so far so good. I have to reiterate, like, after an hour and 12 minutes, this is actually a really developed game. We'd normally see us reach kind of blue march. Party for clutch. Oh no. Come on, dude. Keep it alive. He's got grenades, right? He absolutely has grenades. I wonder why as well. Okay. Maybe he's got some red mags on him. There we go, yeah. No, he's gonna go down. No, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. No, 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 no. Acid sucks, by the way. It slows you down a ridiculous amount. Good D. Really good defense, man. It sounds strange, but, you know, if you go down here, you respawn here. And as you're down, the bugs have free hits on all of this stuff, whilst you spawn with basically nothing. So you have to go and get yourself another gun, and find some grenades. So Clutchy saves himself at least 5 or 6 minutes and this base by doing that small play. But again, a bit of a weakness, this area, you know. And we're at that point now at 25% strength. Colden sending 1,400, Green Jugs now making it 27.9. You're potentially looking at this being a real weakness. You don't want to leave your front door open on this in this kind of game mode. You need to seal yourself off at some point. I think around about the 1 hour 15, maybe the 1 hour 30 in a normal game when it's not 52 versus 7. You know what, that's a really good question. I don't. I know that for a base, it's in the double digits. So, and I think for the largest of worms, I think that too is also a double-digit threat decrease. I'm normally too busy running away from them to notice, but I would highly recommend killing everything you can see. The further back they are as well, I know it's a bit of a stupid, obvious point, but the further back they are, the further they have to run to get to you. So, you know, ultimately pushing back as far as you can. Yeah, big biters are really, really pretty frustrating to deal with. You'll see as well these defensive structures. So like a little wall pattern outside of the wall. And what this is a bit of a killing zone where effectively the bugs will, I haven't used my drawing tools that much today. They will path in, kind of hit this wall, and then basically need to dance around this structure, all the while whilst being hit by flame. So this is a really smart play to kind of force the biters into a kind of maze and be able to do more damage to them over time. And we'll see some different builds later. I'm sure that the South have their version of what they want to do. And Chrono is, yeah, slapping on the side. Okay, so Mystic and Chrono are doing defense. Jahor did power. Timin, Roomboggler, and Clutch stayed in main and forced main up. And they have one more. Do they? Why does it say 8 players on South? Is that guy that joined? Hang on a minute. Am I missing something here? Is somebody called? No, I think this is the guy that joined and then died. He's getting kicked if he joins again. Yeah, no, sorry. I noticed, obviously, I've been calling out the numbers the whole time, and it just said that, yeah, think I need to jail. I don't want to do it to him because he's a new player, but he has the potential to affect the challenging team. What's his name? I don't want to do this, obviously, but he doesn't know what he's doing by joining the game, so... and there's potential for grief here. I don't want to do that. This is the fastest way to resolve it. All it takes is for that new player to join and start pulling up a speedrunner's base, and you will tilt the speedrunners off the face of the earth. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm sure if I had to explain it to him, he'd understand, but it's the easy. I don't want to ban him. That's not fair. From jail, he can spectate as well, so he's not out of the game, but it stops him from clicking that join team button and then coming in. I would hate for the game to be over because somebody left, joined like some randomer, and they just for some strange reason just unplug the oil to go into flamers, and then you just have no defense. And after 1 hour and 18 minutes of smashing a game out as a speedrunner, you're dealing with that. That would be horrible. So my apologies to the pleb who is in jail. I will unjail you. You're not there forever, my dude. It's unfortunate that you joined the game when we were setting it up. So yeah, sorry. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put the channel name, and if you want to appeal, hopefully, if he sees this message, I want him to join us so that I can explain to him why he's jailed, and then I can unjail him because he'll know what's going on. I also don't want to type massive amounts of text out to a new player. You know, this guy might not know what's going on and just leave. So, okay, Vixie, on the run up top, 1,000 going across. So these are some big sends. 30% bugs. It's not impossible. In fact, 30% bugs is not. I mean, here we go. We'll watch them crash into the fence right now. You're not going to do a huge amount of damage. And especially the way the flamers are orientated, you're not going to see them really chip away. But one wave has taken one wall. And when your wall is too thick, you need something up here to replace that wall. Over time, holes and gaps will develop. And that's the art of defense, is making sure that you're covered initially by bodies. So physically, people coming over here and replacing things and building things thicker. And then later on, having massive amounts of bots in order to replace walls. And we can see here that the beginnings of the thickening of the wall. But waves and waves and waves are going to be crashing into this. And so again, all it takes is for a little bit of damage to go on the flamer, a bit of wall damage as well, and over time. And this is an endurance race, so you're going to have, look at this. There are 2012 aggressive entities on south coming and banging into this wall. And this second wall here that needs replacing ultimately is now on yellow health. So the next wave chips down even more, and over time, you lose things. So I don't know if the south have spotted this. You hope they have. Potentially, yeah. Here we are. We're into the, well, let's see. How much further are we looking at purple here? The beginnings of purple and yellow. I can't believe this is going this quickly. Unfair on North. Got to throw some shade their way. I'm rooting for the plebs. I'm just so that anybody is aware, I'm rooting for the plebs. Why mass decon? But that said, you gotta love it. You gotta love a bit of a challenge. An underdog, 7 people against 52. Where would you see this anywhere else? You wouldn't see it in paintballing because you just throw waves of noobs, you know, until they ran out of ammo. You wouldn't see this in football or soccer if you're watching from America. Apologies if I just bastardized the hand egg game that you throw. You couldn't see this in fighting, right? Boxing, you could never see, or like, you know, mixed martial arts where there's nutty like team versus team fights. You wouldn't see this in chess. No, do you know what? You could see this in chess, right? Like 7 grandmasters playing 52 games. You know how they do those where they walk around and move the pieces one at a time and then go to another game. And so, you know, maybe South is like the Magnus Carlsen of the Biter Battle world. That's a fucking terrible analogy, isn't it? I'll stop. But yeah, this is imbalanced, is the right way to put it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? How they can play multiple games, and because they've got that formation in their head. Yeah, oh mate, I love chess. I'm really getting into it. I'm terrible. I'm really bad, but I love it. It's such a good game. And it's so deep. Like, I didn't realize how much history and you know, people like Gary Kasparov playing against Deep Blue and all those kind of things. Like, it's kind of nuts. So I'm trying to kind of get my rating to a respectable level where I can talk about it, but yeah, GM Ghosty is not going to happen anytime soon, I'll tell you that much. Let's check in to see how many bots we have on South. So South have built, so far, 223 bots. I know, they're going for it, mate. This isn't just a, we're going to threat farm for a bit, they are going for it. We're going to see like minus 2 million or something by the end of the game. So yeah, 230 on North bots. South have built 475, closing in on 500. I'm not sure if there's an optimum amount they're going to go for, and then that's it, or if they're just going to build into like 5,000 to 6,000 bots, but definitely worth keeping note, and I'll keep kind of tabs on that. Moving over to the Rocket Outpost, have we had any changes from here yet? Not really. Arguably, the Rocket Outpost nearly has as many bots as their main. Say of that what you will, I'm not going to pass comment, but I would say these guys are really looking at clearing some space and getting some mixed builds down, and when they do, I will happily explain what a mixed build is to anybody here that doesn't know already, or that just needs to kind of a bit of a refresher course, right? So yeah, it already looks like they're stitching up a load of patches, ready to go and feed into the late game stack that is these mixed builds. There you go, you love to see it. And once this is up and running and operational, happy to talk about this. I wonder if South are going to go for it. Yep, there we go. I shouldn't really speak first, I should really check, but so this was Clutch's play. Clutch saved this about 10 minutes ago, and he's doing it again here. But yeah, he's their mixed build is coming off of a mixed patch. Interesting. Very interesting, right. And somebody did mention in chat, negative threat of North. Look at this. Mega, I'm sorry I didn't let you into the game, mate. You're absolutely killing it. Look at this. One-man army. He didn't do it all himself, but he's carrying it on. The tradition is strong. Since we're here and since they're threat farming, I'm gonna give you some knowledge, right? I'm known in the game as the Minister of Defense, and this is why. Let me just pull up my tools, and I will explain to you a really key concept in this game mode. 3k hours does things to you. Yeah, mate, can confirm. As a long-term Dota player, can confirm. Okay, let me explain. You obviously don't need to know this, Mega, but if you need to take a quick break, I'll show you something about those defenders that you might not already know. And just whilst I set myself up, I'm going to use colours which are easy to spot. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Okay, yeah, cool. I'm just going to quickly draw something out first, and then I'm going to kind of explain what I'm talking about, as this might seem like absolute nonsense. Oh, hey, my dude. Thanks for joining me. Posthumanista. I hope I said that correctly. Thanks for joining us, mate. I'm literally just about to explain quite a deep mechanic, and there's somebody in the game that's actually doing this right now, so yeah, this is super helpful. These little defender drones that you can see Mega throwing out right now and killing off loads of bugs have a certain way when you throw them out that they spawn, and a velocity at which they spawn. So if you take my drone as an example, if we're going after, for instance, this piece of infrastructure here, we want to kill this nest, right? It's in the way and we need to get rid of it. You could argue that by throwing your defenders at them, it's kind of the best thing, right? You want to just flood a load of defenders on top of the base and then allow them to shoot. But unfortunately what that leads them to is become attacked and eventually weakened, and then obviously down the line killed. And you want to have these guys flying as long as possible, as you can see down here. Mega's doing a great job of basically slingshotting them in and out. And the way that you can effectively get a free hit on spawning your defenders is you throw them at the furthest distance that they can be thrown in the opposite direction. Sorry, this painting skill is terrible, by the way. I've just noticed how shit it is. You throw them at the furthest velocity you can, at the extremity of the distance you can, because what happens is, as you're moving around in, say, for instance, a clockwise or counterclockwise pattern, they will slingshot back and actually exceed the level at which they should be able to kind of fly out of the radius they'll hover around you, effectively allowing you to slingshot 10 to 20 little defenders into a space, killing off the base, and giving you a free hit effectively. Now, it's not just Megal up here. Hugo's doing a great job, and he joined in the chat a little bit ago. Monkulol's up here. We've got loads of threat farming going on. Holy crap. Hydra, key threat farmer. And again, I'm expecting this number to go way above 40k. You know, I've seen it go up to 200, 300,000 before, so yeah, it's going to get nutty, absolutely nutty. What can we say about South? Well, they're pushing into purple science. They might not have hit it just yet, but purple and yellow are looked to be fed. And beyond that, we're really only going to talk about one thing, which is getting a rocket up. And I think at 1 hour 27, some of these are some of the best speedrunners in the community. I don't think it's going to take very long before we see a rocket. Now, I wouldn't say in the next couple of seconds, but I honestly think, yeah, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. If South were to send a little bit of science, these guys wouldn't be threat farming against 8 or 9% bugs. They'd be threat farming against like 30% bugs. And then those little one taps that these bugs give you suddenly start taking off big chunks of HP, meaning that you need to either get yourself in a tank or a car to kind of avoid being hit by them. So a very good adaptation, if you see people doing this, by the way, so the way that you counter threat farming is to not necessarily push the number up, because it's not going to help. Yeah, absolutely correct. Hugo, there is a command, and I will type it into game as a shout. So you'll have to kind of... so you do dash clear corpses. So that, you effectively type that in. Only 100. You can't type any more than that, and that'll clear an area around you. Hey man, thanks for the follow area. Thank you very much. Who's winning? North have 52 players. South have 7. I'm tempted, in terms of the main base, I'd say heavily the South are ahead. They have more bots, they have... oh, equals not needed. Okay, yeah, then it's just clear corpses and then a number. Yes, South are ahead. They're aiming to get into this late game science and effectively get themselves as fast as possible to a rocket. They have multiple mixed builds that are down, that are producing slowly, but they are producing. And that's 7... Why has somebody joined South? People getting banned soon. No. I don't want to see this. This should only be 7. Nobody else should be joining this team. This is a pre-made team who have challenged our server to a game. Our server responded by finding 51 of the best plebs we could, and yeah, a good indicator is bots, total bots. That's a very good shout. We have checked. North at 467, South are at, if I remember where their building is, 467 against 619, and they did start a little bit later than South as well. In fact, I say a little bit, about 130 later. So, you know, not only are South being able to... How many are flying? They have 630 in total in the network for South. And... let me find a row report. 476 for North. Yeah. So they're behind by about 200, you know, plus 200 plus. And you've got to remember, like, you have 50... Now, don't get me wrong. There is an outpost that has lots of bots already. So you could argue that this outpost is actually kind of further ahead than South. But in terms of the main base, the area around the main objective of this game mode, which many people forget, you get a free rocket silo at the beginning of the game. But you get it's not for free, you have to defend this thing, right? The moment this goes down, it doesn't matter how sexy your laser outpost is, if you lose this, it's GG. So I highly recommend to anybody that's new to the game, play within the main base. And when I talk about main base, there's no specific area within each game that exists that is like main. It's not like, right, this square is main, anything outside of this isn't. Main effectively is a term that we use to speak about the initial building, the initial research, the initial, you know, oil and power infrastructure. Once that has evolved into a shape, you need to defend it. And we can see here now, the South have done a really good job, even though there's some holes in some walls here, have done a really good job of kind of slowly but surely making their main base safe by putting walls down and closing themselves off to the external threat, which is the bugs. And the bugs that they're dealing with are pretty nasty for this early time, 35%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but they're coming often, you know, and as we can see, they managed to break a wall. All it takes is for them to keep hammering this spot, and this wall turns into a massive chasm that these bugs can just walk through. So, you know, even a small amount of chip damage is, you know, it does do a huge amount. So, what else can we see that's different? Let's go. I'm going to go and find an outpost which we haven't checked in on in a while. Okay, up here we have Whisper and Smiling NASA. Typically their play is to create water barrels and pistols, which I have absolutely no idea strategically what the point of doing that is, but it was funny as fuck to watch last week, so I'm going to give it to you lads. It was pretty fucking hilarious. They themselves are moving towards bots. They're moving towards their own signs, and I think they're going to help kind of ease along the north side. I never know how to say that name. Again, okay. Do I have my red belt rant now, or do I have my red belt rant later? I'm going to be honest, you have the space to do it, you have the time to do it. Whether it's worth doing or not is a completely separate issue. Does anybody in chat know why we're not a big fan of red belts? Just asking. I'm not saying that if you make them, you're the worst person in the world, right? I'm not equating the people that make red belts to Hitler at all. So please don't. It's more of a meme than it is kind of a, like, oh my god. But if everybody in chat does know, I'm not going to go on that little rant because I'm happy to just leave it as it is. You know, let sleeping dogs lie. But they're too strong. We cannot contain their power. Yeah, correct. Mega's on it. We're really on it. There are some parts of the build that some of the kind of more experienced players will red belt because the throughput in those areas are specific. But overall, the rule of thumb is if it's expensive and it takes a long time to build and it doesn't give you the advantage that you initially want it to, just yellow belts are fine. You get them right at the beginning of the game and they work for you all the way through. You know, you do see, unfortunately in normal games, and this, if you're a new player watching, I highly recommend you don't do this. You'll see somebody kind of grab a load of resources and then create like a little red belt mall here or over here, and that diverts your science production. It diverts your, you know, mall production of some late game items like, you know, pump jacks, well not late game, but you know, like some of the deeper items like pump jacks and refineries. And you need that stuff as soon as possible. Like you need that yesterday if you can have it yesterday. So yeah, avoid doing that. What I always say as a new player, yeah, the 3-3 run. Oh my god. Did you, I don't know if you were here for you maybe probably weren't actually, big game 2 I think it was, or 3, somebody made a red belt outpost and it was enormous. I mean it must have been a joke, like there's no way they did that on purpose, and it was one of the most horrifically scuffed things I think I've ever seen in this game. So yeah. Oh okay. Mate, I'd be down to watch that. A BB round with those kind of, yeah, everything gets forced off the belt. Oh, Red Underground's horrific. Don't get me wrong, you get a lot out of it, but why put that much energy? Effectively, it's like kind of risk and reward, right? If your game is going to last 3 hours, what did you do with your time that helped your team? And there's so many different things you can do. You can build power. I always get new players, so I captain a game just before Christmas. I'm currently undefeated, by the way, and that's not going to change the next time I captain. I'm just undefeated at most things I do. Hashtag stay humble. You kind of need to weaponize your new players. You need to get them involved, you know. You need to teach them a few things, maybe explain a few things, but ultimately get them playing the game. You don't want to be stood around not doing anything. So my advice to people that are joining the game is get into voice chat for a start. Join a stream like this, because I'm happy to explain what's going on. 200, yeah. and like say, look boys, we need to build power, right? So I need 1 or 2 of you to go over and find some coal and do this, and then a few of us are going to be building power up. And even though it's the most basic play you could possibly make, and you'd argue somebody of my talent and skill should be doing something much more advanced, you need to weaponize the new players because they do have value. They're just sometimes a little bit lost, you know, and that hesitation where they stand still and they go, oh wow, this is huge, like I have 50 people on my team. And why is Dwight going on south? Yeah, please don't join south, guys. I just want to keep it as 7 people for now, right? I know that there might be a mechanism that allows you to do that, but let's keep them. Let's give them a chance here. They just got 5,755 green side thrown at them, eventually pushing them to 40%. And at this point, you need to. Oh, are they? Pfft. Honestly, at this point, I'd just play the game because they are rocketing ahead. No pun intended. They're gunning it, mate. You know, and it won't take long before these things really start to pay off. And again, we do have, we finally, you love to see it. Purple science is up and running, and I do believe that down the line, yellow science will be fed. I'm just saying, right, and this is the power. I play a lot of sports. I've done a fair amount of coaching in my time as well. Communicating players, communicating teams always win. The moment you shut down and stop talking, that absence of kind of leadership is obvious at times. Like, there have been times where I've played games or coach games and I'm like, boys, just talk to each other. You know, if you see a problem, tell somebody, because what you see isn't necessarily what the other person can see in the moment, right? So you might have a critical piece of advice that helps everyone, and there's no such thing as a bad idea, you know. So if you have an idea for something, like, share it amongst the group. Like, we're not going to get upset if it doesn't work, but what the worst thing that can happen is you have an idea that might actually win the game and you keep it to yourself because you think somebody might shout you out or, you know, take the piss. So whenever I play the game, I do what I'm doing now, which is I'll just get onto the mic, have a chat. I already know who knows how to play the game. If I see Colden join the game, me and Colden can have a chat, obviously, during, but he can be left alone and just do his own thing because he knows what he's doing. The same as for Decker and Menander, and, you know, you get to know these people because we all play pretty much every week, so... yeah. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find something different. Or I'm trying to find something negative, actually. I don't think there's a huge amount of negativity to be said. You know, they've even got things like capsules down, so they've planned this early game sign spamming by having hundreds of capsules ready to go for wall attacks, you know, for these things to eventually drop. I would argue at this point, though, if they have the resources for it to get those roboports down. Oh, and Chronos, there we go. Yeah, perfect. Just on cue, right on time, at exactly the right time as well. 1 minute, 1 hour 30. You've got a ridiculous amount of bugs. They're always coming. So what's the best play? Let's create a little puzzle that the bugs have to solve before they get anywhere near our defenses, and let's get them thick. And then down the line, you can add roboports into all of this, and then the robots will just eventually fill all of the gaps. And that's how you defend late game effectively. And later on, we'll see some lasers maybe if we get to that point, but they've done an incredibly good job of caving themselves in. They do have some uranium ore within this if they want to go nuclear power. Yeah, it's not only that, sometimes people can build far too out. They can kind of extend themselves a little. So I would much prefer to defend in a box like this. I'm not saying that every game, but I'm just saying this game, for instance. I'd much rather defend in a box like this than a box like this, because you've got to think the front line is vast, right? And all it takes is for, you know, every little area to be chipped away at, and eventually, let's say, like, this wall goes down. A lot of the time, a lot of people don't build those secondary and tertiary structures within their defensive outposts, so that the bugs, once they get through, they're in. And what you need to do, like any good defense, you need to have multiple layers, so that when one eventually naturally will go down. Like, don't get me wrong, this game mode seems kind of like a bit placid at the moment. Light oil and flamers is a very strong play, but only when you have an abundance of light oil. And you've got to remember, late game, those the rocket fuel that you need to stick in your rocket to get the white signs needs a lot of light fuel. So, you know, you could argue that it's not the best play, but I think it is. I think it's worth it, because you can always go and get more oil. You can always go and increase your production in that respect, or just, you know, put absolutely tons of it into storage as you make it. But yeah, I'm a big fan of light oil going in. I'm also a big fan of the flamer design as well. I would sit them further back, but I think the argument or the play that they're trying to make here is that they're setting up the walls to be thicker than they actually are. So these won't stay like this for too much longer. It's work intensive, don't get me wrong, it sucks as well, but you don't want to make your front line too big. And I feel like North are, you know, 58,000. Let's say, for instance, attention citizens, we have power issue. What the hell? How do you do this? That's cool. I wonder if it took him longer to do this than it was to just type it in chat. But yeah, he does have power issues. And that's probably why. Oh wow. Okay, so slight issue out here with one of the outposts. Got you, yeah, banned. Let's get the ban hammer out. Alright, let's check in on... Alright, these guys are going full spam. Hundreds and hundreds of science, all good. Any extra deviation? Nope, just the same old, just ramp up the damage. Threat farming, that's what I was talking about before I got slightly distracted. And obviously, I'll talk about these late game builds as well. They're all different, they come in different shapes and sizes, they do different things. I'm a big fan of this build where you smelt the plates within the structure itself. But you will see later on smelting happening outside of the initial late game build and then filtered into these kind of long stack-like structures that you can kind of stick on top of each other. So yeah, big fan. So yeah, threat farming. How do you deal with this? 60,000, right? If South sent a rocket right now, would North survive? Yeah, and it's Hugo, I feel you on that one, mate. I've been through that. It's like walking through mud. Best thing to do potentially is disconnect, reconnect. But if you're on an old machine, the later this game goes on, the more resource intensive. A rocket would probably give them, at this early stage, in the 1 hour to 2 hour mark, you don't get a huge amount of play, bang for your buck. It's probably the best phrase I could use. I think a 1,000 white science would push them into the positive, but not by much. I think there'd be about 5,000, 10,000 maybe. Get a job. 360? No way. Alright, you're downloading some serious films in the background, my dude. It can't be, or turn the stream off. I mean, if you need some extra bandwidth, obviously get rid of me, but yes, something's going on in the background there, mate. You're downloading Red Dead 2 or something. A good 200 gig download in the background. Potentially, mate. Hey, do you know what, mate? If it gives you a better game, I'd say go and play the game, you know? And if it's still laggy, exit the game and come over to stream, and I'll keep you up to date with all the stuff that's happening. So yeah, here we go. 50 players versus 7. I've waited all week for this, and I'm really looking forward to how this plays out. We do have yellow and purple going into main, and this is massive. And I'm obviously this has happened for a while now. This is huge. Let's have a look at North's research. No purple, no yellow, 50 players. There's some bragging rights here, right? If you beat a team of 50 as a team of 7, unless you're playing children, and it's just, you know, physically you're just better than them because you're an adult, like, I think there's bragging rights here. You know, the belt that leads to their science goes nowhere. It's an argument we've been having. It's an argument we've been having in Discord all week. Is there a critical mass number of players that you need in order to win? Yeah, I know what you mean. I do. I honestly, I believe you. You know, I think that the optimal number of players in a team is probably about 10. And I think that gives you some space for some lesser skilled players to still fulfill roles like building power, for instance. You know, you could argue, I don't know how strong, who's it, just one of their players is. Here, J-Horse, sorry. I don't know how strong he is, but him just doing power, you could argue could be done by a lesser skilled player. But it needs to be done. It's a job that regardless needs to happen. So yeah, I always try and find those jobs. That and making walls, actually. If you're a brand new player and you're not too sure what to do, I've got a top tip for you, and this works in every single game. Find your nearest stone patch, build a stone smelter, and get walls. Honestly, 10 out of 10, I'll pick you on my team every time if you know how to make that play. Because you need walls right away. Like, the moment you can wall yourself up, do it. You'll save yourself so much headache. Like, having these defensive structures down and allowing these to do the work for you, it just saves so much pain. And obviously we saw it early on with Clutch's save of his outpost over here, them just walking directly in and effectively almost killing him here. And off the back of that now, you know, sealed up area, they can just get these mix builds down in an enormous amount. It could be the load of the server. You know, we do have a lot of people in watching as well as in the game as well, so this isn't normal, by the way. Anybody that's tuning in right now, we don't normally... Yeah. Sorry, mate, I shouldn't laugh. Yeah, just try and red belt your PC. Oh dear, yeah. And equally, coincidentally, if you see a red belter, avoid them at all costs. I'm sure the difference is that in normal Factorio stuff doesn't really apply here. You know, there are some constants, right? You need power, obviously. You need copper, you need iron, you know, obviously. But there are certain plays that aren't optimized at all. And I'm worried for South now because they are really far behind in terms of science, right? You know, you can have 50 people on your team, but if these guys manage to get all the way through to Silo and they start banking rocket parts too, I don't know. I think this is already starting to swing heavily in the team of 7. Really heavily, actually. Let me check in on something real quick, because we do have saving grace now. No worries, dude. Hey, if you want to have a look at a part of the map, just ask and I'll head over there. Again, this is more of a joint stream. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, and I'm probably, a lot of you guys know this anyway, there are lots of players that can't join us for this time slot, but they play all the way through the week. So they're like, you know, Asian players who are out in kind of Malaysia, Korea, and there's a couple of people that are out on the West Coast in America that can't make this time slot. And so what I said to them is I'll stream the game, I'll referee and stream the game so that they effectively have a chance to watch this back or still be involved in this, because this is a really cool thing. So I'm certainly not trying to be a streamer, and you'll see that because of the quality that obviously we're not putting out. This is hardly a polished production. But yeah, we're just trying to kind of keep everybody involved. And hopefully some of the guys that have come back each week, you've seen it getting a little better. And each game is different, so there's a different story happening in each time we come in. So yeah, massive smelting lines going into huge endgame builds here. And as you can see, all you have to do is put in some of the most basic resources you have on the map, be it copper, coal, and iron, and outspits some really advanced items. So yeah, we are cruising, we are sailing, if you're the south, into the end game. Well, no, not the end of the game, the late game, sorry, I'm mispronouncing myself and using the wrong words here. We're cruising into the late game. The end game is when rockets begin to appear. We're also having some connection issues from NJQR, and unfortunately I'm going to have to kind of, if he continues to reconnect, because it slows us all down, he's going to have to get banned for an hour or 2. I quit. Fair enough, mate, fair enough. Well, feel free to grab a coffee, sit back, and at the very least you can kind of watch that game that you were just involved in play itself out to a logical conclusion. My PC should not melt by the end of this. We will later on, when there are massive amounts of bugs coming in, have to slow the game down naturally. That's fine, mate, don't worry about it. So let's try and keep you up to date. We do have these mixed builds, got huge power blocks going down. This is another play. So again, we talked a little bit about, you know, if you're joining the game and you're fresh and you don't know what to do. Oh, HSA. Okay, so he's gone for your purple spam. Huge. Absolutely huge. So let's take a look at our mutagen log, because sending purple will do a lot more. So if you look at 3,600 green jugs that T-Bucket sent, that only increased the evolution by 1.8, right? And only gave them an extra 600 bugs, right? That's not really a big deal. That purple science being a few tiers above, with a lot less, 204, has actually upgraded it by 3.6. And this is where the kind of nuance in the game mode really comes into its own, is that do you go cheap, fast and nasty, get loads of green signs down and just hope that that really cheap, you know, signs play, you know, affects the game so much that effectively the bugs come through and beat your opposition team. Oh, here we go. Big guys, big blue guys coming in hot. I'll try and follow this as it comes in. Or do you go for the later game signs, like your purple, your yellow, and your white, and hope that you can jump a number from 12%, having not sent anything, to 80, 90, or even 100% out the blue, effectively forcing the opposition to react. So yeah, this is kind of massive. The only advantage North has now really is those sign spam. That's all they have. And even at this point, I don't imagine them. You need thicker walls, right? This defense only lasts for so long. But effectively, South can just cruise into the late game here if they can defend correctly. Put roboports down, build all this stuff up, you know, slowly but surely, you know, do this. I can't imagine this going any other way. And I don't see any negatives here. 7 people have very efficiently, very effectively gotten themselves into a winning position. I would argue around about the 1 hour, 30-minute mark. Yeah. Well, so far we have 943 in North. And with a little bit of lag because people keep joining. Only 477 on North, so they really dipped out. So we have a policy, if people keep reconnecting, they kind of slowly lag the server out. So in this instance, this player here has reconnected twice and failed. On a third reconnection, I need to ban them and time them out for a few hours. He's not banned, like he can come back any time, but his joining is slowing everything down. And if it's not going to happen, it's just not going to happen. So unfortunately, so yeah, I feel bad for the guy. Sorry, mate, but the only problem is if you get caught in a loop trying to join sometimes, especially if you're connecting from far away, and that guy needs to just stop connecting because it's slowing everything down for all of the rest of the players. And as you can see, we have 46 people on north and 7 on south. Us going down by 5-10% is a really effective way of just killing the game off of people. So, right, north, saving graces. I agree, but there's something in the background. Neuro, one of the senior admins, says that there's something that goes on in the background that it hampers the server itself. I'm not an IT guy, so I keep away from these kind of discussions, but there's something that those constant reconnects slowly but surely degrades. And as you can see, he's going backwards now, so it's unfortunate he's just not able to connect. Yeah, so obviously join. If you can make it here, be here, The game, when they start sending white signs, will become incredibly laggy, so we'll drop the speed down to something manageable, but it's the constant reconnects that, at some point you just got to put your hands up and go, this isn't happening for me today. I'm connecting from Malaysia, I'm connecting from, LA, and unfortunately the server's based in France, I think. So yeah, there's going to be a small discrepancy in connection quality, But yeah, excellent game so far. Very quick. 1 hour 54 and we're looking at the beginnings of the end. And in South, I mean, where do you go from here? Where's the silo going to go? Surely like here somewhere, right? I mean, we still need RCUs to be made. We still need LDS to be made. I mean, effectively you could siphon LDS. We have laser turrets up. Okay. And what about the laser outpost? Okay, so we have... Yeah, about close to about 60 odd lasers. How about the laser outpost that Neuro was involved in? How many of these guys built? Because this is here specifically just for one reason, and one reason only. And already he almost has as many bots as North. And we don't have any lasers down yet. Oh mate, you hate to see it. You get everything down and it's ready to go, ready to be fed, and then you see somebody peel off all of your iron for red belts or repair packs. No, I feel bad for you, my dude. Well, feel free to take a break. We are cruising into that end game. The green spam has been survived by South. I don't think they've really had to rebuild any of their infrastructure. They lost the little things. Nuclear reactor. Oh, okay, nice. I haven't even spotted this, but good stuff. Gabble and the guys who are out onto this outpost. Nuke stuff. Up on this completely. I can't believe I haven't scanned here yet. My bad. I'm sorry. I really should have been checking up on all the outposts, but fantastic play from them. Okay, so they're looking at nuclear very early as well. I don't think South are even bothering with nuclear. I think that their play is to get that rocket up, and 2 and 3 and 4, and hope that wins them the game. Threat farming continues. In bits, fits and starts. I'm not seeing any lasers though. But by going for okay, so bear with me on this one because it's a little bit of a roundabout way of thinking. This is an incredibly defensive play, which means that with your 46 people, you're effectively saying that you're going to be the ones on the defensive side of the game, right? You're planning on needing this nuke to sustain your lasers, to sustain massive attacks. So you're conceding a little bit here, I think. Maybe showing your hand a little bit, saying, well, actually, although we have this many people, we don't think we're going to hit that particular timing where we can beat them outright. Like, we need to start planning it for our own defense or our own demise. It's good to do this anyway. You should always have a nuke ultimately, but this shows me a little bit of a, I wouldn't say lack of confidence, but definitely just a bit of a, you know, thinking just in case we get things like smashed. Oh, here's some lasers, fantastic. All right, Fang's got him. Fails plan to fail, exactly. Some Sigma male, fuck's sake. Yeah. Plenilia grind set or whatever they call it. That's a fair point. But you'd love to see it. Again, if you're a more advanced player and you want to help your team, this is underrated but much needed. You know, a nuclear outpost where you have everything you need to just slap down a blueprint it's ideal. 6k white side. Ambitious. I don't think that generally speaking North will survive white side spam. And the reason I say that is that the bugs are so strong that they will come after some of the outposts as well. So although we have things like these late game outposts going down, some of them won't survive. And that's where kind of like you need to be defensively minded. Although you're out the way here, tucked away, there's still the opportunity or possibility that the bugs will come for you. You're not comfortable out here. You're still technically in the line of fire. But yeah, we're slowly but surely getting there. I'm just kind of, I'm not worried about North, but no, I am worried about North. I'm really worried about North. Boys, the plebs, we've sunk to 46 players on one team. We had 50 something at the other, 57 I think it was, versus 7 to begin with. They have everything they need though. But you do experience fatigue in this game. That's something I could definitely show you. The calculator shows negative threat if all that gets sent. The plebs have been replaced by bots. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. And this is also, you get that kind of malaise in the middle of the game where you start to fatigue a little bit. I always say, like, if you're going to be playing a 4-hour game, 5-hour game, take breaks, mate. Take breaks. Go and stand up, have a stretch. In fact, if any of you have been with me from the start, go and have a fucking break. Go and grab some water, grab a beer or something. Like, go and take 5. Nothing will change in the next 5 minutes, but you can definitely stretch your back out or get some water or, you know, do something, get some food on. In fact, you know what? I'll get some food. Got some crisps here, a banana or something. Yeah. You know, help yourself out. Help yourself out. The barrel outpost, let's take a look. Disappointing. I don't see many barrels. I see these weird endgame builds that I don't know, like. But yeah. So yeah, if you're a new player, take a break, is what I'm saying. Because you want to be here till the end of the game. And you can definitely burn out. You definitely can burn out, so. Yeah, last week we saw a barrel and water pistol build that unfortunately did not get them the win. This week we're seeing something slightly more ambitious. I do see this though. I'm not sure what the plan is for the train. Were they thinking maybe trains aren't particularly, they're not really used in this game mode, I'm going to be honest. There are niche times where a train could work, but yeah. Lasers down. How are they being researched? So obviously having lasers is a good thing, but you can get them deep into the research tree to do more damage. I think what I need to look at, they're cool, but you need a lot of time to set them up. Do you know what? You're correct in that. You are correct. You could have a train. I built one once because I kept dying in my outpost when I was a new player. And only once, by the way. I was only new for one game, and then I was a pro for every other game. And I built a train to get myself back home, and I called it the fail train. The train of failure. Every time I died, I had to like hitch a ride and get back to my smashed up base. But yeah, lasers are down. We're looking at endgame defense now. Luckily, they haven't been hit with anything behemoth level. So anything, medium-sized bugs are purple shelled, blue are big, behemoths are. Yeah. Oh, we're going to challenge anti-elites for sure, man. What we need to do is recruit this current team to play with us against anti-elites and Nephrons and all those guys. Yeah, and bosses as well. Yeah. I haven't really talked a huge amount about the bugs, even though this is called biter battles, mostly because they really come into their own at the end of the game. I mean, they're here to end the game effectively. They get so big and so strong, there's so many of them, that, yeah, we're going to see some carnage, absolute carnage later. So yeah, we're cruising into the end game here. More mixed builds going down, giving you more output, more throughput, and you, at the moment, all these guys are going to be doing is just chesting all of these late game items so that you have them to hand at the end of the game. I would hope that sooner rather than later we see things like RCU builds going down. We can already see they're planning for a satellite. Obviously, never ever ever launch a rocket without a satellite in this game mode. You'll get nothing back for it, and you'll probably get banned. By me at the very least. Even if not in the game, I'll come into the game and ban you. Don't do that. So I don't want to give too much away here. We have plans to have other teams come in and play. There are we've also got a plan for a team of admins, so effectively every single admin versus every other player in the server. So yeah, so the reason why this is a mystery team is that it used to be teams of 4 to play professionally, and so the MCP stack was Mystic, Pipes, Clutch, and then I think they added Chrono in as well. Those 4 joined forces with the other 3 guys to make this kind of super stack. So we have a professional team of 4 plus 3. We do have ambition to kind of, I'd like to see if people like Anti and Nephrons and all those guys would want to kind of team up and play against us. We'd need something to... Those guys are kind of insane. Although, how much better can you really be against people like this? Because they've survived the spam, right? Do you think Anti and all those guys would survive the spam? Because building is one thing, right? And again, they're fucking quick. I've seen them play there. It's ridiculous, actually. But there's that active role you have to play in forcibly getting rid of the bugs. You know, you have to kind of... And I'm not sure if that would suit those playstyles. I'm only guessing here, I'm not saying for sure. But I think that we'd have a chance against them. Yeah, MCP tied them. Can you imagine though, like our server, and this is where I'd want to make sure that the 50 people that we have in are legit, you know, over 900 elo at least per player, obviously. Up against that, you know. But sorry, going back to my original point, we have ambition to have other teams come and join. We have an admin team that wants to challenge the server as well. I'm part of that admin team, so you know, one of these weeks I am going to be playing the game. Don't worry, it's not always going to be me just watching. But yeah, it's going to be nutty. But initially, big game happens every Saturday. It's normally even teams. This is just a challenge. You can get over 900 easy. Yeah. I think just being able to get to that point. I mean, stats aren't important. I'm going to be honest. Stats are the least important part of this game. People like to lord it over that they have like 1k elo or as long as you know what you're doing and you're not a negative influence on your team. So you're not doing things which are considered soft grief. So you're not necessarily like ruining the game, but it's, you know, red belting power, for instance. Not the best use of your time. You know, that play, that expert play that you had in your mind could have been kind of envisioned in a better way, let's say. But yeah, interesting build here actually. It's like a reverse mix build. Who stuck this down? Lucky Stone. Do you know what? I heard them talking about chip factories. Yeah, but Thule, that's the thing though, mate. If Thule joins my game, I'm happy Thule is on my team. Because I've seen you play, mate. Like, you know what you're doing. And I think that the longer you stay in the server, the longer you get to know people, you kind of know what their playstyle is and what they're good at. So when I joined the admin team, I kid you not, people know what I'm going to do before I even do it. Now you can keep them guessing and keep them doing other things. Yeah, well, I'm going to win, aren't I? You know, see Ghosty, log out. Like, you know, stay humble. By the way, hashtag stay humble. It's my hashtag this week. But yeah, you know, you expect certain things from certain players. Lucky Stone, Carl. Mer1, for instance, Outposters, they can get to a rocket. Neuro can get to a rocket. These guys clearly will get to a rocket at some stage. how quick they are getting there, I think these are the only real competitors. Yeah, I think these guys are the only real competition, and there is a lot of mixed builds here. You know, this is a frightening amount of endgame builds, and this is normal for an endgame, but oh mate, thank you very much, that's awesome. Thanks for the raid, Zymo. Well, yeah, if you're new here, welcome. thanks for the raid. We're currently witnessing a game of 46 nubs. Thanks for the swap follow, mate, as well. That's brilliant, thanks, mate. Yeah, we're currently witnessing a game of Biter Battles where 46 players, which are effectively the plebs of the Biter Battle servers, they're all good. Hey guys, nice to have you in. Yeah, these guys are effectively the plebs of our server, and they are fighting it out against 7 of the fastest, most skilled players, which are effectively kind of like a professional team, if you want to kind of call them that. Now, you think maybe the numbers 46 versus 7, and this is a live game, by the way. If any of you guys just joining want to join this game, as long as you've played this game mode a little bit before, I'm happy to get you in as well. So if you just want to watch, thanks for joining me, and I'll try and kind of keep everybody up to date. 1v46, the moment we can get somebody that good in. There was 57 on the opposition team at some point, but we've kind of slowly meandered down to 46, which I still think is an incredibly respectable number of people. So yeah, this is the MCP stack. We've got Clutch, in fact I'll pull up players so you can see it. Pie Piper, Roombogler, Mr. Camber, Timin, Chrono, Jehor and Clutch 331 are going up against all of these plebs, and Whisper, who's like the biggest pleb of them all. And I think it's comfortable to say some of you guys have been here for the whole time. We think South are winning by a pretty comfortable margin, I think. Now North obviously have the outposts that are building them their rocket, and obviously strength in numbers. So they've been threat farming, getting the threat up to minus 72,000 minus 70,000 entities, and these enormous mix builds which are just churning out these late game items. So there is a chance for them to kind of take the lead again, but I think firmly it's safe to say that South are well ahead. For any of you that think I'm talking absolute gibberish at the moment, that's fine. This is a game mode called Biter Battles. My name is Ghosty. I'm currently refereeing, administrating this game. This is a one-off game that we host every weekend, and this is called Big Game. This is the 5th iteration of that big game, and we have been challenged by a professional team. These guys effectively said, come at me bro, bring all your noobs, we can beat them. And I hate to say it, they're kind of doing the job. They're kind of slowly but surely grinding the noobs down. Now, I say noobs, not all of the people in this North team are bad players. Obviously, there's some talent here. Nura is a very strong player. G Squared, KRS, Enkling, Hawk2O, Fordeka. About half of these guys are very, very strong. There's a breach. Southwest. They'll be okay. They have bot coverage now eventually, so, you know, down the line, this will slowly but surely. Carl hit me up to challenge the pro team, though. Hey man, I'm happy to entertain it, you know. The reason I host these games, by the way, isn't necessarily to be a streamer or anything. It's because other people can't join us at this time slot. So this is a nice way to be able to post the VOD into Discord so that people can watch it back. So anybody watching thinking, holy crap, this stream is terrible, I agree with you. I'm not here to be a streamer, so. But thanks for joining me anyway, it's really cool to have. And that's the first time I've ever been raided, mate. Thanks for that. Very true. Any hole is enough for them to find and force their way through. So you kind of, at this point, want to start transitioning your static defense, which is what your flamers are, into kind of your more active defense by having your roboports down, and you can see this enormous army of flying robots dropping off. And we said the moment that South got bots, every single bot that's made is a job that one of those individual players doesn't have to do. And I think that's really key here. You know, you want to make sure that you're optimizing your time as efficiently as possible, because, you know, this is an active game. You're not playing a sandbox version of Factorio. Eventually, one of these teams is going to crumble like a bendy bus hitting a brick wall at full speed. And yeah, I really don't think that North, unless they manage to really square South Outpost, no way. Somebody did manage to get out to the edges of their map, but it looks like Clutch's like mini semi-outpost out here is really powering them through to the end game. The one thing I'm not sure that they're working towards, though, is lasers. Not lasers, sorry, nuclear fuel. So I'm not too sure what the play here is, because South are definitely going to kind of steam towards a rocket, and that's great to see. Like, they are trying to get there as fast as possible. And I think 2 hours and 11 minutes for any level of the game is this, so far, not being a speedrunner obviously, is a good position to be in. But I think, you know, these lasers are slowly getting upgraded. Are they going to have the power for them if they all turn on all at once? Solar power, come on, Skelly. I believe it. Yeah, I think, or here's an idea. Let's say, for instance, hasn't placed. I know. I don't think they have enough lasers really, though, to be ambitious like that. If I'm the North guys, for instance, I'm looking at our walls, going, right, we need somebody to just come down here and fix this. You know, I don't know if they have the infrastructure yet to kind of facilitate massive laser production, but I know Nura's working on it. So you're hoping that the outpost effectively will slowly funnel all of those resources down towards them. So yeah, South, I think maybe they get rocket number 1 up, allow slowly and passively their parts to kind of build up, and then in the background they start working on solar, or they're going completely baller mode and they're like, we don't need it because we don't have to defend now. They are literally so far ahead that I think if North can storm towards a rocket, they'll start posing more problems than North can solve. And when it comes to that point, it really doesn't matter how big, for instance, these mixed builds and these outposts are, if they're constantly being smashed, because they don't have any defense on this side of the map. You know, you need to have little pockets of either lasers or flamers. Yeah, exactly. 80% without the lasers firing. So you've got to imagine, say for instance that, you know, science spam does work and South end up going up to 90%. So somebody throws like 5,000 kind of purple signs. Oh no, a desync. Oh, you hate to see it. Well, hopefully they can come back. Not all at once though, that'll just lag us out. Yeah, hopefully you think that maybe if South get to 90% and their bugs end up being close to like 100k, maybe the lasers will kind of intermittently fire and eventually go down, but I'm not so sure. I really do think that this is South's game to lose at this point. If this was a race, the power of prayer. Oh, Ice Gecko, I think he snuck into the stream. I mean, it's great to kind of be building these structures out in the middle of nowhere. You don't really get harassed too much. But that said, you do have to defend a little bit, and I feel like they're safe here. Oh, they're going rocket fuel. Okay. I underestimated this outpost. I haven't been here for a while. So Whisper and Smiling NASA are aiming for late game. They're managing to get, I mean, I'd chest a lot of this stuff, you know, at the very least, but this is looking good for them so far. So maybe the saving grace isn't in the east, is in the east, sorry, for the northern side. Enormous amounts of production here, followed up by what you'd probably argue is a silo going down somewhere off into the distance. Meanwhile, what's happening on the west? I think Nero was doing lasers, right? Are we any closer to this? I don't think we are. And you've got to remember, like, it's all about efficiencies. You both started the race at the same time with the same amount of kit. The only difference with North having 57 players on their team when they started to the South 7. And what we're seeing now here is 7 people efficiently, like marathon runners, they never lose pace. They're just at that same running pace the whole way through the game. And yeah. We are looking, by the way, so just for anybody new that's not sure what's going on here, this is a more structured, organised game of biter battles. My name's Ghosty, I host this every Saturday, and the game starts at 4 o'clock UK time GMT, which is 5 CEST. As a new player or somebody that doesn't know about this game mode, I highly recommend getting involved. You don't need any amount of skill to play. I mean, we let Whisper in every week, so you know that says a lot about us as a community, how much we're willing to put up with and how we're willing to kind of teach. Check the green sign spam. Yeah, who is it? Colden build over here. Oh, they've layered it now. Holy crap. What are we looking at? 1k, 1k. Oh dear. But then that's a drop in the ocean, right? So let's take a look. I'm going to have a look at this. Sorry, I'm jumping backwards and forwards for a second here. So the last send that was thousands of green did 1.1 increase in... Now, coincidentally, almost half of 1,000, 1,570, 5.9. So wouldn't you transition now to purple if you could? Or is this do or die? This outpost exists and it stays like this until the end of the game. Whether your team loses or wins, this is it. Green for life, baby. But if you're going to commit to a strategy, here it is. It's just missing a few things, right? Green chips. Yeah. Why is it 46 for 7? For science. So yeah, I'm highly expecting or anticipating South to slowly but surely push their advantage. What plays could North make? What deviation could we see potentially from North in order to kind of gain advantage? They threat farmed incredibly well, so minus 70k entities gives them that space. Yeah, this is that event. So I'm also administrating the game, so every now and again I have to either kick somebody or get rid. And yeah, the threat farms work for them. They have the strength in numbers. They're still dealing with a very low evolution. So even though if one rocket goes up, it's not necessarily going to end their world. But how quickly they manage to kind of finish their defenses off is really important. This needs to be done yesterday. And it's ambitious to have all these blueprints down, but you need to have the resources in order to kind of let the bots drop it. So yeah, we'll check back on this in a while, but I don't think this is going to come up anytime soon. And if North slowly but surely kind of creep towards a rocket, which it looks like they're doing, I mean, these are all pretty well fed, and they're churning things out at a pretty frightening pace. Yeah, I think we can safe to assume that 2 to 5k white signs. Oh god, I mean, can I? Is it too early to hypothesize? Okay, here we go. Anybody that's been here for a while or that knows what's going on, how many, including the number of minus threat farm, how much white signs do you think it takes to get through this? I'm going to say about, depending on how good the Flamers have their upgrades, maybe 2k, 2 rockets breaks into North Space. I'm talking about the thickest part. Oh wait, hang on a minute. Wait, what? Oh, it's to kill trees, right? I thought that was for bugs. 6k white size. I think 6k white size melts North Space. What's the lowest amount do you think that can get through? 2k? Yeah. It's been a good game though so far. I've got to admit, for 2 hours and 18 minutes in, we've done a real... I think 3 is a pretty solid number. Meanwhile, North, they're rounding themselves out, you know. They've gone from, you know, lifting a little bit and putting on a little bit of muscle to getting big. Flamers, yeah, mate. Flamers give them a suntan. They do not do any damage to the behemoths. And there we go. Ambitious. So we've got 2 competing philosophies here. We have an undefended but larger presence in North. Vixie style base. Oh, wait, no, this isn't the red inserter guy, right? There's a player who does everything with... Oh, it hurts my eyes, honestly. Not that it's a bad play, but it's just, yeah. Okay, so 2 competing philosophies here. We have an incredibly well-defended South team, who are... They're limited in space. You can only sit down a few more of these before you start running out of resources, but you're well-defended. You're ambitious in what you're planning to do, and you're already on your way in chesting up things like RCUs, and I'm guessing LDS at this point. And you're not having to build your own silo because, oh boys and girls, sorry, I don't mean to assume. We're there. And some would argue by the speedrunning community this is incredibly slow, but I would say when you're faced against 57 other players, for you to reach the rocket first and build it slowly, and this is going up kind of slow, but it's going up, right? This is being piece by piece, Lego brick by Lego brick. This is being pieced together. And so not only have we reached the end game, we've reached the end of the game. Yeah, it could be the... I've got a few solutions. Yeah, so I'm going to pause the server for a bit. We find this sometimes, it jumps up and down as the game goes on. Okay, give me 2 seconds, guys. I just need to talk to the guys in game, and then we'll get back to this. So, okay. Yeah, well, we had a game in the new year that was, I think, something like 30 on 30. The reason I want to host these games is because I can kind of, if anybody that hasn't played before, they can kind of hop into here and I can kind of walk them through some of the real basics. But if you have kind of more, people are getting DC'd. Ooh, this could be. Okay, I'll do that instead. Yeah, I like to kind of. We've actually had a few of them come in here, and a few of them have managed to get to into the game from the back of it. And we can kind of show the game mode off, but also explain that it's kind of very different to your normal Factorio, and it's a lot more structured as well. So when you have a captain, the captain has a plan. If you've been in our Discord over the last week, you'll have seen that the planning has been immense. There's been some real kind of heavy, deep thought going into how you kind of play this one out. And you know, I think there were people thinking that I'd managed to get PewDiePie or someone to play against the guys. Not going to happen, but there are some very, very strong players in the community, and as we can see, you know, they're cruising. Now we're only at 28 out of 100 rocket parts built, so again, we're not kind of raving about where we are right now, but do we have a silo at least, or a location? Right, so silo's going to go down here. Nothing really interesting. I don't know about that. I got raided, mate. Firstly, that was really cool, by the way. North have got enormous amounts of production, with even more being slapped down. So they will get to more rockets faster, I think. But I don't know if they're up to. I don't know if they have their rocket silo researched as well, satellite and all the rest of it. So, meanwhile, if you're just joining us because you've made us do. This is exactly what we like to see, especially at this time. 2 hours and 22 minutes in, we have a silo down, and we're at 36 out of 100. Again, there's no draws in this game. Somebody's going to win. And the team of 44 now, which is still a lot of players on a Biter Battles team, is about to maybe, I don't want to say definitely, but maybe, are in for a pretty rude and painful surprise. Because they have the basics. The basis of the most basic defenses down. They do not have the advanced. Ooh, that's a massive send. Open drain coming in strong. Okay, let's take a quick look. What has that done? That's massive. So we've gone from 65 up to 81, but that 1,460 yellow signs throw is nothing to sniff at. Once this number comes to 90. Or 90% evolution, we start to see behemoths, and we will now start. No, I think Open Drain's on his own. Oh, he is. Oh, that's not good. That's... Wait, because now some labs aren't researching. So that's a kind of a deflating tactic, isn't it? Surely they've taken their air out of their tyres there, because you're sending signs, which is fine. You need to do that anyway to pump up the bugs, and they are very strong now. But you could argue, maybe they're not particularly defended over here. So again, I'll walk you through real quick. Anybody that's just joining us, I do apologise if this absolutely burns your eyes, but I do have some high-level MS Paint tools I like to use during the game. In the olden days, before the new AI came into play, we used to see bugs attacking in these patterns, and whilst I say that, we are watching an attack happen. The thinnest parts of the base. So they're being repelled. You know, I don't think at 81% we're dealing with anything particularly game-ending. A couple of bosses. But I don't see any lasers down this direction either. So we could look at a breach here. This could be the first bit of adversity that the South have really kind of come into, because, you know, it doesn't take long before these guys get through and start smashing up all of your flamers. Unless they're going to send somebody over here with capsules. We might be looking at a breach. And a potential kind of a slowing of the speedrunners. So yeah, this could be. Is this happening anywhere else? I was going to point out. So those bugs probably eventually will come through. So just whilst we're here, and it's taken them ages. The new AI or the more advanced AI that that's been introduced onto this server for a while now, effectively you will see attacks coming in these directions, as well as your more frontal attacks as well. But you'll see them kind of curl themselves around into the base as well. So you're not always going to have a front in which you can fight from. You effectively have to kind of defend from every angle. And when you see thin, anemic walls here, with, for instance, a single flamer in the way, I don't know. I don't know if that'll survive. And here we see this structure surviving, but all it takes is for that wave to crash a few clicks over to the left. And we're dealing with some real problems here. Yeah, the one with the elongated health bars are the bosses, and you can see they slowly kind of churn down. Hey, what's up, Prox? Nice to have you here, my man. And yeah, they're just chewing through. At this point, even if you have upgraded flamers, you're really just giving them a suntan. You know, they're not actually damaging as much as, say, for instance, a few lasers kind of chinning him off. And as they break through, they kind of go beyond the flamer's range, and you're going to start losing some stuff, you know. This game mode is attritional. Now, don't get me wrong, the further these guys go across this defensive line, eventually they're going to bump into some lasers, but that is a hole that is yet to be patched. So another wave, oh, here we go, another wave coming in, needs to just hit that hole again, and they walk directly into your base. Factory bug with Apple. Yeah, some people have been mentioning this game, and I'm not too sure what the solution is for this. I did see some people saying there was some kind of Apple issue. I'm probably the least IT techie type person that I can answer you, really, if I'm being honest. So we can raise it with the admins after the game. I'm sure there's something in the code that they might be able to take a look at, but I'd be kind of speaking out of turn if I said I actually know anything about that kind of thing. I'm too busy being a legend. And humble, by the way. I'm very humble. So South have been quite lucky. So far, these kind of very anemic edges of their base haven't been rattled just yet. They have ambition to get some roboports out here, maybe. Got you. Oh yeah, that was it as well. Somebody asked me, like, should we challenge the devs to a game of biter battles? I don't know if you guys would want to see that, but one of the guys in our server talks frequently to one of the devs, and they know of biter battles. I don't know if they've ever seen it before, but they know of it. So it'd be really cool to see if we could play them, and maybe give them some pro players, because I don't know if the devs are actually any good. I don't want to throw any hate against them or anything like that, but I don't know if, because it's their game, they spend so long like developing it. But I'd love to see that, you know, see if we can play the big boys. Great. All right. Rocket 88, or Rocket Part 89 of 100 is going in. I'm not sure exactly if South send straight away or if they hold, right? But you'd imagine they hold at least 2,000 or 3,000, right? Anyway, right, I'm gonna have some coffee and then we're gonna get to this, because eventually North are fleshing out their defenses. They have ambitions to stick some lasers down, and you love to see that too. Let me check. We are soft locking the joining conditions of this game to people who have at least 10 to 15 games of this game mode because of the nature of the game. However, yeah, he has 0 games. Sorry, my dude. Good point. However, we were talking earlier on about secondary and tertiary levels of defense, and this is a very old school play. Whether this is a good use of Teeman's talents is another thing. However, this will effectively soak any breach up. The bugs will eventually kind of come through here. They'll kind of fight their way through here, creating channels, and eventually get twisted up inside of this structure. Do not look at this as a noob strategy. You can hide inside of this whilst throwing poison and slow capsules at the bugs as they kind of ice skate through. So it's a very old school way of defending. I quite like it, but it is labor intensive to stick it down. It's not a great use of time. Oh, great, we caught launch. Awesome. So I missed this one last week. So the first rocket at 2 minutes and 29, and they're going to make 2 minutes 30? The first rocket is up. And we have reached the end of the game, or effectively the game-ending conditions. Now, how fast they get a second rocket? Do they have enough stuff? Ooh. No. Do they have enough stuff? For any of you watching, there's no stronger science than white. However, having some of it doesn't mean you should use it all the time. You effectively could use that for research. Or, by saving it up, you can send multiple thousands of that science, effectively creating a bigger problem for North to deal with, which I don't think at this point in time. South power is... It is. It's... I'm telling you, man, these bugs take longer to kill. You need kind of banked power. And let's take a look at this 14,000 green science send that's just been chucked over. 14,000, it changed it by 1.2. So we're really looking now into the later stages of the game. Even though we're only 2 hours in, waiting and saving for that much green science has really not changed the dial too much. You know, that's really not made a massive amount of impact, if I can get my words out correctly. They are yellow power. They are yellow power, and I'm not too sure what they can do. Some power is losing out. Yeah. So effectively, a little part of their power block is just not receiving coal. And you could argue maybe you could siphon parts of this off. Not particularly game ending, but when you're in this position, you want to be powering to the end, to the finish line, you know? Everything should be up and running as fast as possible. They do need that second rocket. Holy shit. Are we seriously looking at a team of 7 players beating effectively a team that at its peak had 57 people in it? Arguably, yes. These players on the south are good. I'll give them credit. You know, I'll give them props to that. But, I mean, it's 7 people. Do you know what? Here we go. Sorry, I should have probably theory crafted this earlier in the day or earlier on in the week. I think their play wasn't to get to the end game. I think their power play was to get to bots as fast as possible. When they talked about training for this game mode, I don't think they went past the point where they got bots. I think they were speedrunning this. And effectively, once you have this, there's thousands of you because your bots are making your plays, right? They're not making plays like where you're spamming down random, I don't know, like blueprints like this. They're making the play that a speedrunner would make on their own, but without them needing to be there. And like I say, every time a bot is doing this, it's a job that you don't have to do. So they're incredibly, obviously, overpowered and well used, but the misuse of bots, and obviously we see that later on with repair packs going into bots, which is a bit of a meme in the community, by the way. Don't do that. Anybody that's watching that's never seen this before, just don't. Chrono on solid defense here, so you can see these blue clouds denote poison capsule being thrown, and later on in the game you'll see also slow capsules being used as well. Ooh, very good point. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Great question. We're going to do some post-game interviews of both sides, both captains, and I'll keep that in mind, mate. Try and, if this goes on a little bit longer, try and remind me just as the game ends, because I'd love to ask them. You don't really see this play, but they have... I mean, you could put a nuke here as well, I'm just saying, but like, they don't really have... Oh, sorry, clicking around. A use other than just... It's like a safety net, effectively. A big brick safety net that you can just... That you fit through, that they don't. Or at the very least, they need to move these out of the way. It's... For anybody watching, these things are incredibly cheap to make. And by the mid-game to end of the game, once you've swapped out your normal stone furnaces for steel furnaces, you do have a few hundred of these like sticking around. So, but maybe this is about manipulating the biters. Great question. Definitely will ask it once this game is over, because I'd like to know as well. Have they fixed their power problems? Looks like for now, and they've channeled. Oh, okay, so they've been making a bit of synthetic fuel and feeding that through. Awesome, you love to see it. So, rocket number 1 has gone up. Rocket number 2 is on the way. Let's check out north, because they must be close. There must be a silo somewhere. Here we go. And it's beacon. And it's at 91. Could it be? Could we be in for a fucking... Oh, a photo finish? No way. Now, coincidentally, if South sends 1k, do they break through South's defense? I didn't realize they were at this point. I'm going to be honest. I took my eye off the ball there for a second. Now, they need a satellite for a start. Are we about to see 2 rockets going up at roughly the same time? No. Sorry. I'm getting all excited. So, okay, you need a satellite in this for a start. So that there's no given here that this just goes, okay, it goes in the air. And do they just throw 1k? Is that it? Like, they have enough for another rocket, though, as well. And it's beacon. No way. What do we think? This is really close. This should not be this close. What I might say is if our team beat them, we'll give them an extra player. You know, they can play with 8 next time. They should throw instantly, shouldn't they? Or are they comfortable in the knowledge that they have enough for 2 or 3, so let's just get them? Yeah, no, that is true. You do want to get into Behemoth for sure. And this is missing LDS. Have they been? Let's take a look at their lasers. Hang on a minute. Moderately upgraded lasers on South, moderately. Defense is lacking in certain areas, you know. Sideswipes. Sideswipes are game enders. Could you achieve that final push over to 90%, however, by sending, like, yellow, for instance? Is my question. Is there somebody out there just chesting purple, or... Here we go. Yeah, like this. I think this will get... Well, maybe not this much, but obviously purple signs generally will get them over. This could be nasty for South. They're definitely lacking some late-game LDS. And why is that? What's not... It's plastic, right? No? Steel. Steel. If only somebody had red belted this, is all I'm saying. Are some LDS being produced? Looks like. We're near the end. We're near the very end. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to keep tabs on this. They're already... So they've now overtaken South's rocket production. And another silo goes down. Oh no. Could the plebs be on for a win? There's no way. They have enough chested for another site. I mean, so we could be looking at 3 rockets in total before... Oh, this is close. This is too close. This is way too close. So as it stands, the South only have 1 silo, right? Yeah, Mega, you're right. They do in my eyes, Prox, they do in my eyes. All of you are equally worth it. So, here we go. 62 out of 100. Yeah, mate, they must be panicking. Either panicking or celebrating. But we'll do post-game interviews, definitely. This is not going to go on for much longer, guys. Please feel free to stick around. This spirals out of control very quickly. They have enough stuff backed up here for at least 2 rockets on Whisper's team. Where they have the Prod 3s... Oh, so the professional team are our southern friends. The Pied Piper, Runebogler, Mr. Camber, Timin, Chrono, Jehor, Clutch. And they've been fighting a team of, at its maximum capacity, was 57 players. We're down to 39 now, but we're also at the end game. And they have been going full steam the whole way through the game. How have they managed to do that? Okay, 50 out of 100. I'm going to try and keep pace with all of these silos. We have 3. 1 over here. So this much we know for sure. North have 1k white and South have 1k white. And South is soon to have 2k, as do North. But what North have on top of their initial silo is a secondary. But it's not producing. So if... Is this going to come down to who pulls the trigger first, do you think? In terms of, well, we've got 2, but they might have 3. So do we want to get 3 or do we just want to throw? Because the moment you lose it, you have to rebuild it again, right? So it's easy to kind of sit there and go, oh, I'll just throw it away and, you know, see how much damage it does. But if you don't kill North off with a 2k white send, they continue to build rockets. You know, they continue to put the pressure on. So this is incredibly close game. I'm sorry I'm not describing everything that's happening on the map. I do apologise to anybody that came here for full coverage of, you know, the nuclear builds and all that jazz. This is just really, this is a shootout between a team of 7 who are just a little bit behind the curve. But look at their defense though. Does this survive a 2k white send? You know, they'll jump to like 100, right? They must jump to at least 100, 110 on 2k white. And some of these lasers, like, you know, they're not... Are they upgraded? Well, they are upgraded, to be fair to them. They are good, but they're not 5 times better. Have the plebs done it? Oh, no, satellite. And prod 3s? Whisper, mate, you need to... Okay, maybe the handcrafting. Evo will climb though. That's the danger here. Is the Evo will climb rapidly once they do send, or once a send happens. So yeah. Alright, the second rocket has been launched. I'm sorry about missing that one. 2 from north. 1 and almost a bit from south. They're behind, but not by much. 25 parts. Oh, this is so tight. This has got to be a staring contest, right? Whoever blinks first, because surely the person, whoever pulls the trigger first, is assuming that is a game-winning, game-ending play. If it doesn't end the game, you've lost, effectively, right? You don't come back from that. So, yeah, of course, yeah, and that's just it. Is that sending first means you defend second. So if I send 2k and then a minute later you send 2k, you're having to defend before I do, effectively. So, do I ban? Oh, it's on. It's too young to die as well. Because yeah, he's been connecting for like an hour now, so I don't want the game to be slow because somebody who isn't playing it is affecting it. No, North is, they've got their power down. They've got this down here. And they're keen on sending the white straight away. Boom. Capital letter, send the white now from the captain. Yeah, I don't know if I have enough. And there it is. I'm gonna have to slow this game down now. Sorry. So let's go to 0.65. Let's go to 0.7 actually to begin with, and then we'll climb the speed back up. We're looking at now a send that jumped from 87 to 106, with a load of kind of pointless green signs being chucked away as well. Oh, behemoths. Brace. This is when the south guys will come into their own though. They will not stand there and watch their wall get eaten. I am worried though. I am worried about this. Because even with, you know, the physical structure itself, with no lasers down there, could be a pain. Obviously, behemoth bugs are denoted by their green shell hit, and they are currently crashing into the South's defense. South have okay laser upgrades. Their power is stable for now, but this group of bosses will eventually come through this wall. So yeah, this is what they have to do from now. It's just defend like absolute madman and women. Whilst their second rocket goes up. Are they any close to that second rocket hitting the sky? They have 2. Alright, South have 2, but they're being absolutely shattered at the moment. North, meanwhile, threw all of their white signs, and this is the result of that. They're going to need to build 2 more rockets to have the same level of threat in their hands that South currently do have. Although, I mean, this is a really good defensive play. They've got 2 players chucking loads of capsules. They're losing a lot, but they're not losing their base. Let's just zoom out and see if I can find any other spots that are being hit. Alright, in equal measure, we've got some behemoth spitters coming over here, and they'll need to kind of divide and conquer effectively if they want to survive this. Yeah, threat farming at this stage, though, I'm not sure is the right play to make. Apologies if the game is a little bit laggy. We've had to drop the game speed a little bit. They want game speed 0.5. Okay, so South have defended one area, still being attacked around the edges. But they're holding, you know, they're holding a little bit, but they have like pockets of lasers. So if anybody doesn't know what this game mode is, you can ramp these bugs up to be any strength, depending on which signs you send, and behemoths are incredibly strong. They also have a chance of respawning too once they die, so you effectively sometimes have to kill them twice. I now think that this needs to come into play a little bit, once it's been spotted that there has been a breach. So far, only in 1 or 2 areas are they coming through, and this certainly isn't game ending, but all of this defense and Rune Boggler sent, and they still sit in the negative threat. So once the bugs eventually do come through, they will challenge North. Meanwhile, South are dealing with a pretty hefty challenge of their own, and we see disconnected lasers. Oh no, you hate to see it. No matter which way this game goes, by the way, for anybody watching, it's been an absolute Herculean effort from those 7 players. So win, lose or draw here, I think we can all take our hats off and take a bow to these people, because they have played incredibly well. And there's not much more you can really say. They haven't made any mistakes. Yes, okay, their defenses got broken, but that happens in this game mode. No, there are no draws here. You know, you kind of lose eventually. So I'm not saying that's over for them. They'll have a plan for this. They'll have a strategy in mind how to solve issues like this. But meanwhile, in South, they're climbing up to another rocket, and that's good to see. The North are close on rocket number 3, which will give them another 1k white side, and the Whisper's outpost is closing, so they could have another 2k very soon. Their threat farmer has died now, so this will very quickly climb up to a positive number, and all of a sudden we're going to see their walls get tested. I think the plebs have done it. I think they've, by some miracle, managed to beat some pro players. I think what we need to do is we need to run this game back again, and whatever feedback we get from the other side, so Mystic Amber's team and Clutch's team, and we try and just balance things a little bit. Maybe we cap the number of people we can have to 40 or 45 maybe, or we give them a few more picks, so we give them 10 players, but we can have as many as we like. But again, I don't think it's the numbers here. I think it's the quality. The quality of the outpost is what's keeping North in the game. If this was North main versus South main is easily ahead, and I mean like easily ahead. But they're strong. The lasers haven't been upgraded, and bit by bit they're getting in. Now, you know, gallant defense from Timin, and they will continue to defend this, of course. But, you know, this really only speaks of one conclusive kind of result if you have to keep doing this. Your base isn't progressing, and your time is taken up. That's 1/7 of your team. Doing a good job, to be fair. And again, we have this structure here, which must have some use. Rocket number 2 is halfway built. Oh, perfect timing. Rocket number 3. Let's go the plebs. As the 3rd rocket on the eastern outpost sails into the sky. Now as we pan over to Whisper's rocket, I think we can say that this might be a little bit too much. We may have bested the pros, who almost bested us. You know, this is incredibly close game. You know, I feel like their defenses are a little bit all over the place on South. It's not a criticism, it's just an observation. You know, at this point in time, you'd maybe want some slightly better laser upgrades. I know they've efficiently kind of planned this game out, but there are areas which they're quite lucky haven't been, you know, hammered on, haven't been tackled yet, and potentially maybe have spread themselves out too thin. Now, you could argue on a different game, a different map seed, they would argue maybe that, you know, they would have won this one. I think this is a game that I'd love to see played again. Maybe not for next big game. We want to keep everybody involved, so, you know, we'll try and keep the teams even, but... No, we just rolled the map until it looked good. So they didn't have their specific kind of one that they'd speedrun on. And maybe that's a game that we set up in the future. You know, the speedrunners get their choice, and we have to kind of play their rules. In fact, that's actually a really... Whoever suggested Proxent, really good shout. I'm going to suggest that if we play this in a couple weeks' time again, because they lost game 1, we will play on their terms. So obviously not debilitating terms. I don't want to kind of handicap people, but I definitely want to see if we can kind of even this up as best we can. And that is in a massive, massive hole. There's no way they can continue this unless they drag all of the behemoths into the structure. The stone fortress, that is. This won't buy you enough time, though. They're so strong, they're 1-tapping, 2-tapping these things. Can we get the game speed up? Only if... Ban threat farming for North. I mean, that could be a way to do it. If you're into play, you're into play. And you're there to not influence the bugs. I don't want anybody dropping out of the game, so I'm keeping this nice and slow for now until the threats drop a little bit, because all it takes is for me to... Hey, Purple, nice to have you with us, my dude. I don't want to suddenly up the speed of this game. But Timon's calling GG. Did we reach a third rocket? Slowly crawled into a third rocket. I put the game speed to 95 the other day. Not my finest moment. And then I quickly went and did it to... It's not over till it's over, though. You know, I know what they're saying. This is kind of... It's hard to kind of beat this back with the numbers. 10 versus 50. For any of you tuning in, this is the end of a bite battle game. This is how they typically end. One's team defenses is absolutely torn to shreds. These enormous respawning bugs and bosses as well, flooding into your base, destroying all of your hard-earned things like flamers and roboports, and yeah. You hate to see it, but I've got to give credit. I tell you what, rather than pulling people down, let's give some credit out. North's strategy, and we'll talk about that in the post-game interview, has worked really well for them. You know, they've managed to coordinate at the height 57 people to build this absolute monstrosity of a northern side of the map. And obviously, strength in numbers, they have managed to get the win out. But it was close, you know, this was very, very close. I'd love to see this happen again. But yeah, these behemoths, there's not much stopping them from here. They're just going to cruise in down to the rocket silo. But there is, I mean, you hate to see it, but there is very little you can do to this. This effectively is like one of those, what are they called, unstoppable checkmates. You're one move away from losing the game, and that move just doesn't help you. It's just a passive move. So yeah, I want to give credit to Clutch and the guys for challenging the server. You had a great, really, really great game. And I think that had it been slightly better balanced, you would have easily won this. So, you know, this isn't what's the word, an embarrassing loss at all. You know, I'd held my head up high after a game like this, because you basically challenged as many people as possible and almost won. Better balance could be something as simple as giving them different starting items. So not necessarily making the game unfair. We could argue that we give them some slightly, maybe they pick 1 or 2 players to play with. So maybe they can grab, I don't know, Neuro and Whisper, for instance, and then they're the extra additional people that they need. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I think that's the best thing we can do is after this, we'll have a debrief and we'll talk about it. Maybe we say, look, no spam, no green spam or something. I don't know. I don't want to stop people from playing the game though. That would be kind of anti-fun. But you hate to see it, but you know, the bugs are tearing through everything. And to a very relaxing soundtrack, we're watching Chaos. I'll make sure I ask one of the guys about this afterwards. Cool. If you have any questions you'd like me to ask the captains, feel free to type them in. I'm happy, as long as it's not too weird. Because I know what some of you are like. Yeah, we'll ask them, see what the strategy was, see what the plans were, see if the plans worked. And for those of you who've been with me, for those of you that have been with me for the whole time, thanks for joining in. We will have Big Game 6 next week. And yeah, feel free to sign up. I'm going to create the event for that tonight. And I'll start plugging away at it. If you want to see more games like this, so kind of the, you know, one versus many, or, you know, kind of the admins versus the server, etc., then feel free to suggest it in general. You know, this has been a really, really good game. I think it's been a very even game. And I think for vast portions of this, the South have been in command and in control. It's purely just their numbers that have let them down a little bit. And they chose this as well. Big Game 6. Some code names. I've got some, you know, I've got some plans. But yeah, they're just ice skating through the defensive structures now, making their way downtown, moving fast. It's only a matter of time. Or maybe this is where we kind of do a recruitment drive for the pro team, and we see if we can find other people that are speedrunners and gamers to join them in order to kind of get a win for the pro side of the field. Because so far, if this game goes the way that we think it will go, which is kind of clear and obvious at this point, the plebs are 1-0 up if we're keeping score like that. So in lieu of that fact, in light of that fact, the speedrunners might want to try and get one back. And if they do and they want to have another challenge, I'm more than happy to field that one out here. But I think 2 hours and 48 minutes for a game. We've seen multiple rockets launched. We've got bugs everywhere. These guys are infested. It's only a matter of time before the silo goes down. And like I said at the beginning of the game, guys, it only matters that you defend this, and you are the second team to have their silo explode. No, game speed. I can. Because you got to remember, these guys are defending. So I don't want to speed the game up and all of a sudden they die. More fast, okay. I'll pump it up. What are we at now? We're at, let's go 7-5 to begin with. Some people may drop, and I apologise to you if you're in the game and you do drop. We're just waiting for the bugs to path down. It's an unfortunate way to end the game, but these are enormous behemoths, Goliaths, if you will. They're very hard to beat, they're very hard to fight, and by the time they get to this, it doesn't take long. And they choose to kill a belt. It's not about the money, it's about sending a message. And as two little beasties slowly descend on South base, all I can say is, well played, guys. Both sides, but well played the South team. From 7 people to decide to take on, at the height of the peak of the numbers of this game, 57 is an achievement nonetheless. And to keep them running close the entire game yeah, I think we need to have a rerun of this in the future, in the not too distant future. So yeah, GG's, well played everybody. That was a really, really interesting game to play, to watch and to cast, and I'm sure that if you're in the game as well, that was a really fun game to play against. So, congratulations to Lucky Stone and the Northern team. Numbers eventually did win out. I'll try and grab Clutch, and I'll try and grab Lucky Stone as well for a chat. Whether they want to have a chat or not is completely different. But yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I will jump into the general chat.
Hey, Ghosty.
Hey, mate, how's it going?
Good.
How did that go? Give me a second, mate. Let me just turn off my music, and then we'll have a chat, because I think you guys had a fucking great game. I'm going to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, we pretty much actually hit what we wanted to. It's just North was really strong, I think.
Yeah, it just seems to me like their outposts just slowly but surely crept up to the same kind of point in the game you were, and then it was just a matter of numbers. But I'd be really interested to see that run back in a different manner. You know, maybe on a seed that you guys are comfortable on.
I think like 6-1 or 7. I think it was 7-1 players. That's too much. But
yeah,
maybe
nuts.
like if we had 5-1, would have been pretty close.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, honestly, it was a joy to watch. That was one of the closest games. I think, without obviously needing to watch it back, you guys were in command of that game for pretty much 90% of it. You know, you got very far ahead early on. You got your bots very early on. I mean, what was the plan going into this? Did you have a specific, we need to hit this thing at this point, or was it just play fast?
2 rockets. I mean, we just knew we had to launch rockets, and we thought 2, depending on how their defense looked and how much we were surviving.
Got you.
So we had the 2, but actually the thing we didn't count on was how little threat rockets do, and how the threat farming could actually just neutralize multiple rockets, which I think it would have actually neutralized 3 rockets by the time we were ready for it.
Yeah, we did pick up on that on stream. So I was thinking maybe next time we kind of cap threat farming a little bit, so that you can't take 10 people to get you to minus 100k like in the first hour and a half. I think that might be slightly better for you guys, really.
I mean, actually, I think with the captain's games, that actually opens up a really powerful dynamic, because I know with defenders, I used to, before you were, I think, on the server, I used to screw around and do forward bases a lot and threat farm, and I could farm 100k threat in 2.5 hours solo.
Yeah, it's really fun as
so
well.
Yeah, if you had a bunch of people doing it, you could go to millions negative, and I don't know how many rockets you need for, hundreds of thousands, but it would.
Well, we could potentially parachute 2 or 3 threat farmers into your team, so you'd still remain the MCP, but maybe we get some people that woke up and chose violence to kind of help you guys out a little bit.
Maybe we should basically play a game where if we survive 4 hours, we win, and just
that would be kind of cool.
just like a last stand type deal. Yeah.
Mate, honestly, the only thing I can really say is well fucking played. That was really, really good to watch. And I think
good for North. North played really well.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Gamba, hey, nice to have
Looks
you
like
with
they had 4 rockets in less than 3 hours. Looks like they had probably 10 rockets per hour up. So that's really solid.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's half the battle, isn't it? If you're fighting a losing battle in the end game to those outposts that have gone untouched.
Right.
And because you guys were never really planning on sending, it was always going to really go one way, which is a shame, because once you get to that late game, you've kind of earned the right to kind of be in control the whole way through. But either way, though, mate, very well played.
Yeah, I think without threat farming, it would have been pretty close.
Yeah.
Because we had those rockets ready.
Definitely. Do we have Lucky Stone on? Has he jumped in? I'll talk to him actually afterwards. What would you do differently if we were to play this again tomorrow? I'm not saying we will, but if we were to run this back in 24 hours, what would you change to make it? Not necessarily your plans, but what would you think would be good to balance? So kind of less players on North, maybe less threat farming as well?
If it was the normal turnout for a normal big game, again, we planned for that, and I think that would have been, because I've never seen 60 players, and every good vet I know of on the server was on Team North that I saw. So I think we probably would need 10 people.
Okay.
I don't know if we could have 10. We don't really. Our team is. You saw our whole team basically, except for Guy.
Big time.
But yeah, I think we might have to keep the teams a little more solid. I don't know. My team is all in here. I don't know if they have any thoughts about what we could do different. I think we kind of did what we wanted. yesterday we did one practice and we messed up a few things that we would have done differently. But today, I don't know what real mistakes we made.
Not many from
Yeah.
my point of view, like looking at it from the outside, looking in. You guys had pretty much everything. I think it was inconvenient the time at which they sent the signs, because you were still at that
Yeah.
point getting lasers down. And I feel like had you had those rows of lasers like locked in, you may have lasted a little longer to the point where you'd sent some white signs to them, so they have to then defend. But to be honest, it didn't seem like you really slowed down at any point. There was no deviation. It was just all go from the minute.
No, I mean, Chrono and Mystic basically totally handled all the defense, and I think the other 5 of us were just building. We didn't have to do anything else. At least I didn't see any biters. I saw a few packs early on, but
Yeah.
yeah, so we had basically 2 folks were able to manage until that. Mystic is telling me in private chat that it was actually more Chrono than Mystic, but I think it was both of them.
Fair play. Well, mate, hey, it's been really, really fun having you guys. Thank you for the challenge. It was really good fun to watch. And
If we had known you were going to hype it up so much, Ghosty, we would have had 10.
yeah, no, I got bored during the week, and I thought, screw it, let's just
Yeah, it was a good match.
But yeah, really, and thanks for the challenge, and thanks to all the team. I know that some of you might be listening, so really well played, and hopefully more to come. You know, I'd like to kind of do like an admin versus the whole server team, so all the admins versus all the players, and see how
Yeah, the
fast we get
numbers
stomped.
would be good because I think almost our whole team is almost admin, so it'd be a lot of the same people plus
me.
some other really good players like
Yeah, we'd lost.
and you and
GG.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the threat farmer we're missing. You know, I'll
There
just
you
send
go.
myself
Yeah.
out there and.
Absolutely.
Oh well, cool guys. Well, I'll leave you to it. Well played again. I'm sure you guys want
Thanks.
to do a debrief together anyway. So yeah, thanks for the challenge. Have a good weekend, and yeah, well played.
And thanks everybody, and by the way, thanks to Tim for staying up till 5 a.m. So
Oh my
Tim,
God,
go to
yeah,
sleep.
mate,
I
what a
see you on
hero.
chat. Go to sleep. Poor guy.
Oh my
I guess
God.
you can sleep in.
Yeah, man, get some sleep, dude. Holy shit. All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna end the stream
Awesome.
there,
Thanks,
guys.
Cersei.
That was a pretty mega game. Oh, can we raid someone? I got raided. So 1 second. Sorry, let me just come out of Discord for a second. I don't know how many of you are here because I got raided. But would it be okay? I'm going to ask you first because obviously you guys have to say. Would it be alright if I raided somebody who has like no viewers or like 1 viewer? Just to kind of pump up their ties a little bit. Like if I find a guy with like 1 person he's streaming to, we can just kind of all drop in, say hello, and then carry on with your day or stick around and say hello. So if you don't mind, I kind of want to do that if it's alright. We did that yesterday and some guy ended up with like 30 people in his chat. And I think he ended up talking to some of you guys as well. And it was just kind of wholesome. So let's see if we can do that. Factorio. Oh, Interview the North. That's so, yeah, 1 second. You're correct. And I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let's jump in. Very well caught there. I almost ended things without interviewing the other side. Alright, I'll try and get hold of... There we go. Oh man, I've got so many messages on here. What the fuck? Okay, I've messaged the captain. Oh, that's so adorable. Holy crap. One of the guys has posted him watching the game with his son. I'm really sorry if I swore, man. I need to cut down on that. I'm sorry if your kid heard some choice words. I need to put like 18 plus in the stream or something like that. Where's Lucky Stone? Is he still here? He should be here, right? I'm just scrolling through the Discord and I can't see him online. If you're not, what I can do is I can grab a few people, or what I will do is I'll interview him and stick it at the end of the VOD. So I'll get hold of him later on. Let's see where he is. Yeah, sure, cool. Alright, I'll hop. Oh no, I'll call him. What am I doing? I'll just fucking give him a buzz. Hey mate, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Ghosty.
Hey man, how did the game go? You guys won. Congratulations.
Yeah, we have a great teamwork, so 40 players beat 7 players. It's great for us.
Yeah, dude. Such a big team, but I think you guys coordinated the little areas correctly. So you had good outpost, good spamming. you had some really, really nice threat farming as well there.
I thought it gonna be a mess because many people.
Yeah,
So
57
we
at the
worked well.
height. You had 57 people. That's like a small business, man.
Yeah.
But well played, mate. Well played. What was the strategy going in there? So was it just to get to late game and then just make loads of rockets, or was it kind of threat farm and then you have some time to breathe kind of thing? What was the kind of plan?
We have some threat farm, and the plan is research yellow lasers and survive as longer as we could.
Yeah.
Because we thought they're gonna launch rockets very fast, but the truth is they just launched 2 rockets, and our threat not even get the positive.
Yeah, that's crazy. They soaked up. So 2K Whiteside didn't even really get them. I think you ended with minus 30,000 still. So I keep saying it every game. Threat farming is super underrated. It's such a good play to make.
Yeah, maybe just not enough hand for them. They just have 7 players.
Yeah. I think they said on their interview that if they knew that it was going to be over 50 for us, then maybe they should get 7 to 10 people. Maybe 3 extra bodies for them would help them. But they are keen on going and doing this again. So I must say congratulations to the winning captain. Congratulations to the North team. You guys played a really good game. And
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, mate, it's been great fun. I'll leave you to it because I know it's been a long one. But yeah, congrats. Expect some really crappy memes in Discord from me. And yeah, 1-0 to the plebs. Well done, mate. You represented.
Okay, thanks for the compliment.
All good, my dude. Have a good day, and I'll catch you in a bit.
Okay, see you.
Bye. So yeah, interesting there. Interesting. So they wanted to survive. They kind of didn't really back the fact that they had numbers. So they were aiming for a defensive effort, and it was just their it was really just their, I guess, strength in numbers and their outpost that won them the game. But still incredibly close, though, to be fair. So yeah, I rate that. I really like that game as an idea, and I hope that down the line we might be able to kind of have this happen again. So if any of you guys are new here, we run this I run this every Saturday, just for a bit of a laugh, just to kind of cast to some friends who aren't able to make the game. I do actually play this game mode a lot, so if you see me in game, say hello. And yeah, it's been really fun today. I've been looking forward to this all week, and I'm really glad we finally got there. So, let me see. I'm gonna raid us, if that's okay with everybody. Feel free to leave. The stream is over. I'm just gonna kind of throw a quick raid at somebody just because. Why not? Feel free to say hello to this guy. I don't know who this person is. I'm sure they're a great person. If I can type their name correctly, I'll do this. So I'm really terrible. I shouldn't be a streamer. I'm terrible at streaming. Did that come up with something? Hey, awesome. And literally just feel free to say hello and then carry on with the day. Thanks for joining me, guys. It's been really fun. This is the 5th time I've streamed. There's still so much stuff I need to figure it out. But cheers for joining me on this journey. It's really good fun. And I think we've raided him. Have we raided him? I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works.
Thank you for the raid. Oh my goodness.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we did it. Yes.
Hello,
Happy days. I'm going to follow the guy as well.
EGS. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, really well. Awesome, mate.
Oh, thank you
Let
for
me
the
just say
follow.
hello to this guy.
How are you guys? What were you guys playing? Yo, Dimitri12, welcome in. Are you guys also doing Factoria? What's up? Nothing much really, just organizing the factory and trying to continue, I guess. We just recently got robotics, so it's an exciting part of the game. Give us a small tour? Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll do that. Firstly, I'll show you on the map.
Oh, that's so wholesome. I love this stuff,
So just
mate.
recently
I'm gonna end the stream there, guys. Thanks for joining me again. I'll post the video up as soon as I can, and I'm getting highlights of this done as and when I can. So, yeah,
we just finished
I'll leave you to it.
7v7 fighter battle game. So once it's raid, once it's finished, hope you are having a great stream.
All right, take it easy, guys. Bye.
Really good stream.